Morning, students. Morning, can you hear me? Morning, Nisha. So hopefully I can remember that in the last class I gave you a homework to do. Sorry. Guys, now you can hear me, right? Have you done the homework? Who have done the homework? I gave you a scenario and then you took down the scenario as well as I asked you to draw the ER diagram for that as well. Who have done? If one, even if one has done, we can share the screen and discuss, okay? So let me know just who have done. Can't you take a picture of it, Nisha? You can, Pulasti, what about you? Because what you do is, there is a software, right? Did I mention you? There is a software called eDraw. Okay, Pulasti has done the work. We'll open it. Let's have a look. Before that, I'll open mine as well. Most probably today we will be covering all the practical, not the practical, sorry, the theoretical parts, all the things. And from next class onwards, we will be creating a database. Okay, so all the practicals will be starting from the next classes. Most probably you will be learning SQL and then manual creating database, all the things will be taught to you. Okay, in MySQL as well as management server, both I'll teach you. Before that, we'll open this. பரவாயில்ல முஸ்பிக், உங்களுக்கு ஏழும்டா ஷேர் பண்றீங்களா? இல்லஸ்ட்ரேட்டர்ல செஞ்சிருந்தா பரவாயில்ல. அதுக்கு ஈட்ரோன்னு சொல்லி ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர் ஐக்கியம் முஸ்பிக், சரியா? நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் நீங்க செய்யக்குள்ளே அதுலயே சேர்க்கும். இல்லாட்டி ஏண்டா ஈட்ரோன்னு சொல்ற வந்து அது வந்து அதுக்குண்டே சொல்லி கிரியேட் பண்ணப்பட்ட ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர். ஓகே, அப்ப நீங்க புறவைக்கு நீங்க இன்ஷால்ல செய்யக்குள்ளே ஜஸ்ட் கிவ் இட் a try in that software. Okay, where is this? ඉන්නම පුලස්තික එකත් ඕපන් කරගෙන ෂෙයා කරන්නங்க ස්ක්‍රීන් එකට. Open mine. And those who have done the work, okay, if you couldn't send it to me now, Nisha and all, you have driven it, right? So ඔයාලා තියාගන්න එහෙම. මම ඔයාලට cross check කරන්න කියලා කියනවනේ. එතකොට ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ඒක බලලා හරිද කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් cross check බලාගන්න. හරිද? Just check it out. This is diagram. Okay, let me share the screen first. I am not asking what are the entities and attribute. Okay, I want you to share the work. Sanja, do share the work. After that, we'll discuss. Okay, I just want you to share the ER diagram. Okay, I hope you can see the screen. Give me a second. Where is that downloaded? Pulasti, what is the name of your work Putha? Just downloaded it. Yeah, it is. Homework. Okay, I'll check that. Okay. Plus this work is also here. ஓகே முஸ்பிக் நான் அதை பார்க்குறேன் பிறகு ஓகே இப்போ நாங்கள் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம் அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் உங்களோட ஒர்க்கையும் பார்க்குறேன் இப்போ நீங்கள் என்ன செய்யுங்கன்னா க்ராஸ் செக் பண்ணிக்கோங்க உங்களோட நாங்கள் செஞ்சுக்கிற மாதிரியா இதில் இருக்கிற மையா ஐக்கி அப்படின்னு ஓகே வெல் டன் ப்ளஸ் தி லுக்கிங் ரியலி நீட் அண்ட் வெல் டன் ஓகே ஸோ engineer entity is there, record entity, client entity, project entity, and record both. Why put the two record entities here? One is already existing, right? Then again, please check this out, okay? Into the same entity itself, you can relate it, isn't it? No need to go for another entity. Work with the same name. And also you won't have another entity with the same name. Okay, that has to be clear. That means when you are creating a database, when you are designing a entity relation model, Putha, make sure to have like unique entities. Okay, so all these entities are going to be a table in your database, isn't it? So you cannot have two tables with the same name, isn't it? Like assume for an example, if I'm selling that student details කියලා table එකක් තියෙන කියලා හිතමුකෝ. එතකොට තව table එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්ද with the same name? එනා එங்களுக்கு ஒரே table வந்து ரெண்டு மூணு தடவை கட் பண்ணி கொண்டு போயிலுமா இயலாது என்ன? So that has to be clear. Okay. Fine. එහෙනම් අපි මං ඔයාලට අර ෂෙයා කරපු මේක බලමු මොනවද මං දුන්නේ කියලා. හරි? Scenario එක. Okay, so this is the presentation. So I gave this as the homework, right? So use an entity relationship diagram to depict the information needed of the following engineering enterprises. So each engineer works on number of projects. Okay, so engineer, okay, very good, that is a entity, right? So then they are working on project. So can we consider project as an entity? Can or can't? Can, isn't it? So you also have mentioned project as another entity. Of every engineer, record is kept. Okay, so then record also can be taken as an entity. And then number, name, title, salary, and every project records is kept of its number, name, budget, and location. All this. Now see, in this itself, in this paragraph itself, they have given the entities as well as what? Attributes. Now, for example, Putha, I'll show you one top up assignment. Okay, a case study. We call this as case study. Okay, before you build something or before you, even if it is a software, they give you case study, okay, to go through. So now I am currently working on my project, so they have given me a case study. Wait, I'll show you. So when you are looking at that itself, you will understand in real world how do they give you the case studies or else their requirements. Okay, then you will understand. Wait, open. Marking guide. Okay, look at this. Wait, not this one. Let it load. After that, I'll show you. So now we are having this paragraph, right? So that is why I ask you to take it down. Even if you have taken a screenshot, that is not going to help you. Okay. So if you have written all the things, so easily you can point out or else highlight the things, what is going to be the entities and what are the attributes likewise, you can easily highlight the things. Okay. And also remember that whenever you are working on a real environment, please try to read it for several times, not like once. Don't read it and then just go for the development. Okay, එකපාරක් read කරලා හරි මේක මට තේරුණා කියලා යන්න එපා. හරි නිකන් හරි දැන් හිතන්නකො පොඩි පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න හරි තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඊවන් එක්ක ඔයාට එක ඇට්‍රිබියුට් එකක් හරි මිස් වුණා කියලා කියමුකෝ. එතකොට එතන මේ අනිත් සිස්ටම් ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් එකේ සිස්ටම් ඩිසයිනින් හැම එකෙම එක මේ එෆෙක්ට් එක පෙන්වනවා නේද? So you better come up with a good like understanding. And before you get into the ER diagram or class diagram or use case diagram or whatever the diagram that you're going to create, before that you have to come to an understanding, if not a conclusion. Okay, so this is what is there, this is what the entities are going to be like, these are the attributes which is going to be related to these entities. Likewise, just point out the things. Understood? Okay, the quota meeting බලන්න මේක තමයි මට දැන් මං හදාගෙන ඉන්න මේකට තමයි අපි සිස්ටම් එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. ලොක්වුඩ් කියන මේ කම්පැනි එකක් තියනවලු ආස්ට්‍රේලියාවල. හරි? so இது ஆஸ்திரேலியன் கம்பெனி உண்டு. so அவங்களுக்கு வந்து லாக் அண்ட் செக்யூரிட்டி எக்ஸஸ் கண்ட்ரோல் சிஸ்டம் එකක් තමයි අපි හදන්න ඕනේ. so this is just a assignment which I'm currently working on. So here, this is how they give the requirement. I just wanted to show you. They will just write whatever that they want. Okay. මේ බලන්න plants තියනවලු 3 factories. In the 3 factories they are having 9 departments, 14 separate workshops, all the things they have given. And currently they are using an IT system, it seems, but still it is not. Hence the company proposed to automate the current system of certain divisions. Nevertheless, it should be noted that the previous attempt to automate the purchasing did not work well. That means they are already having a system. Now it is not working, it seems. So some features are not working fine. So for that they have to like they are planning to come up with another new system. So that system we are the one who is going to build. Okay, අපි තමයි මේ සිස්ටම් එක build කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට බලන්න එයාලා නිකන් වෙන වෙනම බලන්න work monitoring module, inventory automate module, මේ වගේ නිකන් තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. They won't give just like paragraph තමයි දෙන්නේ. Okay, so this is how a real time, like when you are working in a real time environment, this is how the case studies, or else we can call it as a requirement sheet, all this going to be. Okay, they won't give separately. They doesn't know මේක තමයි මේකේ තියෙන entities මේවා attributes මේවා කියලා එයාට දන්නේ නැහනේ. So they will just write down the things and they will give. You have to point out the things and you have to come up with a conclusion. வணங்கிச்சா? ஸோ நீங்க தான் இந்த மாதிரியான பேராகிராஃப்ஸ் தான் தருவாங்க. இப்போ நீங்க தான் அது என்ன செய்யணும்? ஓகே, இதுல என்னென்ன என்டிட்டி சீக்கலாம், அட்ரிபியூட் சீக்கலாம், ஃபர்ஸ்ட்டுக்கு வந்து ட்ரா பண்ணி வரைஞ்சி ட்ரா பண்றதை விட இந்த பேப்பரை வந்து நீங்க பிரிண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணிடுங்க. இல்லாட்டி இப்ப டிஜிட்டலா ஒரு பேப்பர் உண்டிக்குன்னு சொன்னா அதுல நீங்க ஹைலைட் பண்ணி ஏழும்னு சொன்னா if there are tools and that everything is available, right? So if it is okay with you, just highlight the things. Okay, highlight කරලා තමයි අන්තිමට ඔයා කන්ක්ලූෂන් එකට එන්න ඕනේ. හරි. දැන් මම මේ සිනාරියෝ එකට හදපු ER diagram මං හදපු එක තියෙනවා. So let's go through it. Okay, so this is how it's going to have 4 main entities. Okay, so 4 main entities. මේකේ පුලස්ති ඇඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා engineer, project, record, client, but you have missed the machineries පුතා. මේකේ machineries තියෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා බලන්න. මේකෙන් point out කරලා තියෙනවා machineries is used in the project is recorded කියලා මෙතනම දාලා තියෙනවා. Okay, so මේකත් ඔයා add කරන්න ඕනේ. So add like for all the things they won't give attributes. Okay, සමහර ඒවාට තමයි attributes දෙන්නේ. then මම මේක real time client කෙනෙක් ගාව ඉඳලා තමයි අරන් ඔයාට දුන්නේ. හරිද? So they have just see even when you are like reading the things, you won't much understand. Okay, clearly කියන්න, because you can't tell it is not much clear, so I couldn't understand that and this you can't tell. Okay, that is why I ask you to read it down. Okay, and take down. Okay, write down the thing, then you will understand a bit, and then you read it for several times, then you will understand. Okay, so ඒ වගේ තමයි මේ වගේ තමයි මම මේක ඔයාට පෙන්නුවේ මේ බලන්න මේ case study එක ඔයාට පෙන්නුවේ even in this case study they have just mentioned okay this is the company it has been planted in this place and then it has since the covid after the covid there is a labor cut it seems likewise මම මේක several times මං හිතන විදිහට මං almost 25 30 times වගේ මේක read කරා. Okay, so reading it again and again and again only you will understand mainly what are the entities that is going to be. Okay, and what are the attributes. එතකොටනේ ඔයාට තේරෙන්නේ මේක නේද? බලන්න මේක recorded කරලා තියෙනවලු. එතකොට you have to mention the machineries as well, isn't it? So for the machineries, most probably like common attributes are there, right? Machinery, what kind of a machinery, the ID, somehow you have to give a ID, uniquely identify කරන්න නේද? ඒ වගේ දේවල් ඔක්කොම ඔයාට මේකෙන් එඩ් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, now let's have a look on this here diagram. So as you can see, engineer කියලා මේ entity එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒත් එක්කම ඔයාට තියෙනවා project කියලා entity එකක්. So engineers works on projects. Okay, so engineers වැඩ කරනවා projects වලින්. விளங்கிச்சா engineers வந்து work பண்றாங்களாம் projectsல. அதே மாதிரி machineries are being used in the projects, isn't it? According to the scenario, machineries are being used for projects, particular project. Here machineries are being used for particular project. Okay, so I hope that is also clear. Use කරනවලු projects වලට. And then client contract projects. They doesn't want to know anything about the engineer or the machine. Okay, එයාලට ඕනේද clients ලට ඕනේද කවුද engineer කවුද ඔයා දාන්නේ යන්නේ කවුද වැඩ කරන්නේ මේකේ නැත්තම් මොන වගේ machineries ද ඔයාලා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. They won't ask anything. They doesn't want to have a relationship in between them. Are they going to monitor the machineries or monitor the engineers? No, they are just contracting the projects. That's the thing. So there is only one relation in between the client and the project, which is contract. Okay, මෙතන තියෙනවා කොහේ the customer. Okay, clients contract this project. Yeah, this is the plot. Okay, so contract කියන එක තමයි relation එක. Okay, fine. So then one engineer, if you take one engineer, he or she can work on many project or one project at a time. They can even work on many project, right? So එක project එකක් අපි ගත්තාම ඒකේ එකම එක engineer කෙනෙක්ද වැඩ කරන්නේ නෑ. There could be many engineers. අලංචා. So that is how you pick one from each side and you find out the cardinality, isn't it? ඒ වගේනේ ඔයාට මේක හදන්න කියලා මම multiplicity එක කොහොමද බලන්න කියලා කියලා දුන්න නේද? So mn කියලා තමයි ඔයාලා ලියන්න ඕනේ. If it is many to many, better write mn. Okay, if it is one to many, please write 1n kira. Okay, that is the standard way. I don't know why they are using that, but that is the standard way. Okay, all the even if you just go through the internet and search for these ER diagrams, they have mentioned the cardinality if it is one to many as 1 and n. Okay, so one side if you take both as mm, then it is not going to work. Okay, so just please mention if it is another side also is going to be many, right? Many to many in many to many relation, so better name it as n. Okay, so that is one thing. And here according to the engineer's number is the primary key. බලන්න ඒකත් මෙහෙම point out කරලා තියෙනවා. And ඔයාට පුළුවන් name කියන attribute එක furthermore divide කරන්න නේද? It's a composite key, isn't it? And title is going to be 1, isn't it? So that is a single value attribute. And salary එක බලන්න පුළුවන්, but from what? That is a kind of what? Derived attribute කියලා අපි ඉගෙන ගත්ත නේද? Can you remember derived attribute? From one if we can derive another value, that is known as derived attribute. Basic salary එකේ ඉඳලා annual salary මොනවාද ඒ වගේ බලන්න පුළුවන් නේද? ඒ වගේ ඔයාට මේකත් point out කරන්න පුළුවන්. And responsibility. So engineers working on projects, right? So when they are working on a project, they are having responsible. Both engineer also having responsible, project also having responsible. Okay, මේක දෙකම බලාගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ කාලෙදී මේ project එක මෙහෙම ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ parts ඔක්කොම ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක responsibility එකක් නේද? So there is something called Jira. Okay, have you heard about it? If not, Gantt chart කියලා මොන හරි එකක් අහලා තියෙනවද? Jira, Gantt charts. Have you heard about anything like that? ඒ වගේ මොන හරි එකක් අහලා තියෙනවද? So that is something puta when you're like software engineers කෙනෙක් okay software engineer වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් web developer කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් whoever you are. Okay, assume that you are working in Microsoft company. Okay, so when you are working you might get projects, right? projects එනවා නේද? දැන් ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට projects එනවා එහෙට කියන්නේ නිකන් හිතමු අපි office package එක develop කරන්න කියලා ඒ project එක අපිට ඇවිත් තියෙනවා කියලා. So we like in a company, only one person won't work on one particular project. Okay, even if we take Microsoft, there won't be a person who would work in a project. There would be a team to work on that particular project. හරිද? එතකොට තමයි team work එකක් විදිහට තමයි මේ software development, web development එකම යන්නේ. හරි? මේ ටීම් එකේ තියෙනවා PM කියලා project manager කියලා කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඉන්නවා designer කෙනෙක් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. ඒත් එක්කම ඉන්න පුළුවන් developer කෙනෙක් and then ඉන්න පුළුවන් documentation කරන්නට කෙනෙක් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. So these are the main 4 roles in a group, in a team. Okay, team management, okay, project management, sorry, project manager is the main role. හරිද? එයා තමයි manage කරන්නේ. So මෙයා දෙනව මොනවාද? මේ ගාන් චට් නැත්තම් ජිරා මේ වගේ ඩයග්‍රෑම් එකක් ඩ්‍රෝ කරලා දෙනවා. මේකෙන් මේ වෙලාවට නැත්තම් මේ දවසට මේ පාර්ට් එක ඉවර කරලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Okay, so that is how we draw Jira or else Gantt charts. Okay, so that is how, like that is for an example. Then මේකේ මොනවාද කියලා තියෙන්නේ නම් එතකොට දැන් මාසයක් දෙනවා කියලා හිතමුකෝ. So they have assumed that the client has given you 1 month time period to complete the project. So within that 1 month you have to somehow complete. So the team has together and they have to come up with the Jira or it's a Gantt chart where they will discuss on which day they're going to complete one particular portion. Designing portion එක කවද්දද develop design එක ඉවර කරන්නේ. Development portion එක කවද්දද ඉවර වෙන්නේ. Documentation එක මේ දාට ඉවර වෙන්න ඕනේ කියන එක finalize කරන එක තමයි මේ diagrams වලින් කරන්නේ. හරිද? එතකොට that is a separate thing, but that you also have to know that thing. Okay. එතකොට ඒකෙන් තමයි මේ responsibility කියන එක එන්නේ. හරිද? එතකොට බලන්න ඉංජිනේර් කෙනෙකුට තියෙනවා responsibility එකක් project එකක් කරනකොට කවද්දද ඒක ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. one particular portion. දැන් හැම ඉංජිනේර් කෙනෙක්ම ඒ කියන්නේ same work එක කරන්නේ නැහනේ. Not all the engineers would work on the same thing, right? When it comes to a project, even one engineer could work on some machinery things and some other could work on some other like architect thing and all, isn't it? So එකනට වැඩ වෙනස් වෙනව නේද? So the engineer's responsibility is to complete one particular work on some particular date. Understood? එතකොට තමයි මේ වගේ මේකටත් ඒ වගේ attribute එකක් එන්නේ, because project also having the same attribute and then the engineer also will be having a same attribute. Sometimes date and time ඒ වගේ දේවල් ඔක්කොම මේ වගේ relation එකට එනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ දෙකටම තියෙන සම්බන්ධය තමයි මේක. හරිද? Now these are the attributes. We can't just keep this as what salary එක කීයද කියලා project එකේ බලන්න පුළුවන්ද? Can we place this salary attribute for the project? Can't. That is not possible, isn't it? Because project doesn't have any salary, isn't it? So then these are the attributes which is really related only for this particular entity, but this attribute is going to be related to both the entities. Am I clear? මේකටත් relate වෙනවා මේකටත් relate වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ attribute එකකට අපි කියනවා මේ වගේ ඒක place කරන්නේ කොයිද relationship එකකට තමයි අපි ඒක place කරන්නේ. Okay, I hope it is clear. And then the projects will be contracted by whom? The clients. නේද? clients ල මොනවද කරන්නේ? එතකොට clients ට බලන්න client ID එකක් තියෙනවා, address composite key එකක් නේද? name and then phone number. Phone number is what kind of an attribute it is? කියන බලන්න phone number. Is there is any particular attribute for this phone number category එකට? Multi-value Pulasti. Very good Pulasti. Multi-valued attribute. Very good. So derived attribute එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ from one attribute if you can derive another one, that is known as derived attribute. Then when it comes to phone, one person or else a client won't be having one number, right? Phone number. He or she might have multiple phone numbers. So that is known as multi-valued attribute. Very good, Pulasti. Very good. Nadira, very good. So clients will be contracting many projects. යාලට ඕනේ නම් එයාට ගොඩාක් projects මේ contract කරන්න පුළුවන් නේද? ඒත් එක්කම එක project එකක් එකම client කෙනෙක්ද project මේ contract කර එක දෙන්නේ එකම clientද නෑ. Sometimes like group of clients would come in, they might contract the same project, isn't it? එතකොට ඒ වගේ තමයි මේකටත් cardinality එක add වෙන්නේ. And then see now project having there are separate, like there are some separate attributes which is only related to the project. At the same time date කියන එක client එකත් ඒ වගේම project එකත් දෙකටම relate වෙන එක. Okay, so that is why we have mentioned the date to the contract when the project is going to be conducted, or else contractor when contract is going to be taken, okay, or else proceeds, the project name, and then this client is going to be taken this on this date, okay, which project කියන එක දෙකම එනවනේ. එතකොට project එකක් එනවා, client ගේ නමත් එනවා, එයාගේ ID එකක් එනවා, contract කරපු date එකක් එනවා. Understood? So that is going to be a kind of a separate table. Okay, responsibility එකත් ඒ වගේම තමයි එන්නේ. මේ engineer responsibility එක මේක මේ project එකට. හරි? ඒ වගේ. அலங்கிச்சா ஒரு இன்ஜினியர் இப்போ நாங்கள் ஏன்னு சொல்லி ஒரு இன்ஜினியர் இருக்கிறாரு, அவரோட ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி வந்து ஒரு ஆர்கிடெக்ட் டிசைனோட ஃபில் கம்ப்ளீட் பண்றது. எந்த ப்ரொஜெக்ட் மெனி ப்ரொஜெக்ட் ஈக்கும் எந்த பர்டிகுலர் ப்ரொஜெக்ட் அந்த மாதிரி காட்டுறதுக்கு தான் இந்த ரிலேஷன் வந்து இங்கே இருக்குது. ஓகே, ஸோ ඒ වගේම තමයි ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් කියන එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා හිතමු. A කියලා ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් ක්ලයන්ට් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා 001 කියලා. ඒකට මේ ක්ලයන්ට් 001 කියන ක්ලයන්ට් කවද්දද මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක contract එක දුන්නේ, මේ project contract එක ගත්තේ, එහෙමත් නැත්නම්. Okay, so something like that. And then machineries, okay, is being used for projects. So here is, as you can see, machineries will have a code for it. Okay, so this is going to be the primary key, and then each machines will have its name, and then the amount of the machineries, isn't it? How many machineries that we have, ඒ වගේ ඔක්කොම දාන්න පුළුවන් මේකේ. And then projects පාවිච්චි කරනවනේ මේ machineries ඔක්කොම. Then time, how long this particular machine has been taken and used to that to one particular project. Understood? අපි ගන්නවා නම් එක machine එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා හිතමුකෝ. මෙතන A කියලා machine එකක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒක පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙන වෙලාව දාලා, okay, this long, like 4 hours 3 hours has been used to this particular project, because there could be many projects නේද? එතකොට එක project එකට මේක පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙනවා කියන එක we have to like set it with the time and the date when they have taken, how long they have been using this machinery. තේරුණාද මේක? This is clear? So this is how you draw the ER diagram for this scenario. Am I clear? දැන් ඔයාට මෙහෙම බය වෙන්න බෑ මේක මේ විදියට තියෙනවා කියලා අපිට හොයා ගන්න බෑ attributes entities කියලා, because this is how the real time world is going to be. Okay, so as I showed you that the case study, when you are doing your top up and masters PhD එහෙම කරනකොට PhD and all, that would be really hard. They won't, like, clients doesn't know like how do they have to present the things, they doesn't know how do they have to write the things. Okay, so they will just write everything to like however they can, and then they will just give it to you. Yet Mushfiq, enna Mushfiq, doubt seeker. If you have any doubts, machinery, it is an entity puta, because machinery and it is a thing, or else ஒரு பிடிச்ச விஷயம் தான். நான் உங்களுக்கு entities படிச்சு தரக்குள்ளே சொன்னேனா இல்லையா, entities வந்து place ஒன்றை represent பண்றதுக்கு, ஒரு object ஒன்றை represent பண்றதுக்கு, ஒரு event ஒன்றை represent பண்றதுக்கு, இந்த மாதிரியான கொஞ்சம் சில விஷயங்களை represent பண்றதுக்காக வேண்டி entity பாவிக்கலாம்னு சொல்லி தந்தேன். சரியா? அப்ப மெஷின் சொன்ன ஒரு ஆப்ஜெக்டா இல்லையா, அது ஒரு ஆப்ஜெக்ட் குள்ள வந்துடும், அதை வேறையா வச்சுக்கோங்க. இங்க சினாரியோல சொல்லிக்கிறாங்க மெஷினரிஸ் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணப்பட்டது வந்து ரெக்கார்ட்ல வச்சுக்குதுன்னு சொல்லி. ஓகே, அப்ப மெஷினரிஸை வந்து யூஸ் பண்றாங்க. யார் யூஸ் பண்றாங்க? இதுல இருக்கிற ப்ரொஜெக்ட்ஸ் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணுது. அப்ப ப்ரொஜெக்ட்டுக்கு தேவை வந்து மெஷினரிஸ். ஓகே, மெஷினரிஸ் அப்ப நாங்க சும்மா மெஷினரிஸ்னு வச்சிருந்தோம்டா அந்த டீட்டெயில்ஸ் எதுவுமே ஈக்காது. சிஸ்டம்ல வந்து மெஷினரிக்கான டீட்டெயில்ஸும் ஈக்காது. சம்டைம்ஸ் அது களவு பேத்திச்சுட்டாலுமே தெரியா எத்தனை எவ்வளவு நேரம் யூஸ் பண்ணினாங்க, எந்த டேட்ல எந்த மெஷின் எடுத்தாங்க, எதுவுமே தெரியாட்டி மெஷினரி செக்ஷனுக்கு வந்து ஒரு செக்யூரிட்டி ஈக்காது. அண்டர்ஸ்டுட்? ஸோ மெஷினரின்றது வந்து அதுவுமே ஒரு திங், அது ஒரு ஆப்ஜெக்ட்னால அது ஒரு என்டிட்டி தான் கட்டாயம். ஏன்னா நாங்க என்டிட்டி படிச்சுக்கொள்ள நான் உங்களுக்கு சொல்லி தந்தேன். நான் ஃபமிக்குதா இல்லையா? என்டிட்டி நாங்க படிச்சோமா, என்டிட்டின்ற என்னாண்டு? ஓகே, அப்ப என்டிட்டில நான் உங்களுக்கு படிச்சு தந்தேனா இல்லையா? என்டிட்டிஸ்ல வந்து இந்த விஷயங்கள் வந்து இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணப்படலாம். So if you have taken notes, you will most probably understand. If not, you won't understand anything. Okay, so here I have a few more scenarios with me. Okay, then I think you better take down all these scenarios. Okay. Okay, so this is one scenario altogether. Okay, making malanam venamadila tiyanwa. Okay, so attributes has been separately given and then entities also has been separately mentioned, so it would be really easy for you. So I'll read it for you. You also please take it down. Harida make a A customer can book several tour. Each tour is coordinated by a tour coordinator. Hari the balaganno you have to understand. Okay, customer kenek kinalu eata tours then tours yana kenek unat like tours coordinators innavana neda. Like assume that foreigners are coming here and then they go on tour, right? So if a client wants to or else a customer wants to go on a tour, then what they can do, they can reach or else they can contact a coordinator, tour coordinator. A coordinator organizes several tour at a time, but a tour is organized by only one coordinator. Did you understand this? A coordinator organizes several tours. එක client කෙනෙකුට විතරයිද මෙයා tours organize කරන්නේ? No, there would be like several tours. Then the client will come and pick, okay, පෙරදැනියට යනවද නැත්නම් නුවරඑළියට යනවද නැත්නම් ට්‍රින්කොමලියට යනවද, like tours would be there. Okay, at a time, one in like at a time they would organize several tours, but a tour is organized by only one coordinator. Okay, එක tour එකක් එකම එක coordinator තමයි එයා ඒක organize කරන්නේ. Okay, am I clear? Organizers ලා එයාලා දැන් වෙන මේ වගේ tours organize කරගෙන යනවා, but for one tour only one person is in charge, only one coordinator is in charge. A coordinator is also, please take down this. Okay, මේක ලියා ගන්න. A coordinator is also responsible for making reservations in their partner's hotel at a time, and same hotel can be booked by many coordinators. A guide is assigned to one tour at a time, and each tour has only one guide, customer who have booked. Okay, so මේකේ තියෙනවා coordinators ලට පුළුවන්ලු මේ මොනවාද hotels යාලගේ partners ලගේ hotel එකේ rooms එහෙම schedule ඒ කියන්නේ book කරගන්න. එතකොට එකම එක coordinator ට විතරයි දෙකෙන් book කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතන්න නෑ. Like there would be like many tours, right? So they can like all the tours can book in the same hotel as well. Okay, but they have planned several tours. Okay, and then coordinators, okay, many coordinators. A guide is assigned to one tour. එතකොට guide කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවලු හැම tour එකකටම. හරිද? And then at a time, and each tour has only one guide, customer who have booked. Okay, එතකොට හැම tour එකකටම එකම එක guide කෙනෙක් තමයි ඉන්නවලු. customer book කරපු එකට එකම එක guide කෙනෙක් තමයි ඉන්නවලු. Okay, அப்ப இது உங்களுக்கு விளங்கிச்சு தானே? ஒரு coordinators என்ன செய்வாங்கன்னு சொன்னா அவங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச பார்ட்னர்ஸ் ஹோட்டல்ஸ்ல வந்து ஒரு ஹோட்டல் ரூமை வந்து புக் பண்ணுவாங்க. இப்போ ஒரே ஒரு கோஆர்டினேட்டர், இப்போ ஏண்டா கோஆர்டினேட்டர்ஸ் வந்து நிறைய டூர்ஸ் ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணுவாங்கட்டும் தெரியும். அதே மாதிரி ஒரே ஒரே ஒரு இது வந்து என்னது நாங்க சொல்லுவோம், ஒரே ஒரு டூர் வந்து என்னது கோஆர்டினேட்டர் ஒருத்தர் மூலமா மட்டும் தான் வந்து அது கண்டக்ட் பண்ணப்படும், இல்லாட்டி வந்து அது ஆபரேட் பண்ணப்படும். சரியா? அப்ப இப்ப இந்த கோஆர்டினேட்டர்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஒரு இடத்துக்கு வந்து ஒரே ஒரு ஹோட்டல்ல வந்து நிறைய புக்ஸ் அவங்களுக்கு தேவையான மாதிரி ரூம்ஸ் எல்லாம் புக் பண்ணிக்கொள்ளலாம். Okay, you understand first. Okay, you read it and understand, then you will clearly understand. Then tour can also rent a okay, equipments and customer rent several equipments, and then the same type equipments can be rented by many customers. Yeah. So then equipments තියනවනේ. Equipments means like bag, all the other things, whatever that is related to the tour. Okay, like it could be a piano, like to take fun, we just take things with us, right? Equipments. So ඒ වගේ equipments ගොඩක් මෙයාලා ගාවේ තියෙනවා. Okay, මේ tour එකේ තියෙනවා. එතකොට customers ලට එයාලට ඕන විදියට equipments order කරන්න පුළුවන්, එයාලට ගන්න අරන් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මටත් ඕනේ bag එකක්, ඒ වගේම තව වෙන tour එකේ ඉන්න කෙනෙකුට එයාටත් bag එකක් ඕන වෙනවා කියලා හිතමුකෝ. Then same equipments can be ordered by several tours or else several clients or else customers. Understood? So continuously here, tour කියන්නේ it's an entity, hotel is an entity, customer is an entity, tour guide is an entity, coordinator is an entity, and then equipments is an entity. So separately they have given all the attributes which is related to each of these entities. So please take down this and then draw the ER diagram for this particular scenario. ஏன்னா நீங்க more and more practice பண்ணකොල தான் நீங்க வந்து நிறைய understand பண்ணுவீங்க. ඔයාලා practice කරන තමයි ඔයාලට මේක තේරෙන්නේ. ඒ තමයි මම මේ වගේ ඔයාලට ගොඩක් homeworks දෙන්නේ. හරි? scenarios ගොඩක් පෙන්නලා ඔයාලට වෙනම practices දෙන්නේ. If you are okay with the ER diagram, if you are really confident with the ER diagram, only we can proceed with the normalization as well as SQL as well. හරිද? The company also wants to keep track of quantity and time a customer want to book a particular facility. So that has been given as an assumption. So what you do is you just understand company also wants to keep track of quantity. Okay, quantity බලන්න මේක entity එකක් විදියට දෙන්නේ නැත්නම් මේක වෙනම relation එකක් විදියට එනවද නැත්නම් මේක attribute එකක් විදියට relation එකට join වෙනවද කියලා බලන්න. That is in your hand. Okay, and then the time. So you have to, now I taught you in this case some responsibility, time, all these things I taught you. So this is going to be something like that. You just try to understand this part and then try to draw the ER diagram. We'll see. In the next class we'll see how you have understood and whether you have completed it correctly or done it correctly. එතකොට අපිට cross check බලන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම ඔයාලටත් හොඳට තේරෙයි. Okay, do practice. That is how in all my classes I used to tell one thing, which is do practice. Without doing practice you won't be perfect. Okay, so you might know the things, you might know about entities, attributes and everything, but still though if you don't do practice you won't understand. Okay, even a single thing. So that is why I'm always asking you, I'm giving these things. Okay, scenarios and other stuff I'm sharing with you. Okay, and there's another scenario. If you couldn't ඔයාලා ලියාගත්තා කියලා හිතනවා, එහෙම නැත්නම් ස්ක්‍රීන්ෂොට් එකක් දැනට අරගන්න, පස්සේ ඔයාලා ලියා ගන්න. හරි? Okay, yeah, this is continuation of this 25th slide එකේ continuation එක තමයි මේක. And then we have a separate one. Okay, a customer of the hotel can reserve several rooms, but a room can be reserved by only one customer at a time. Okay, during the day at the hotel, customer can use various facilities, and the same facility can be used by many customers. The customer care office and are assigned a set of rooms and then a set of facilities to supervise at a given time. Only one officer is assigned to a room, but several can supervise a facility to maintain high quality standard. Senior customer care officer predictably check the work of the junior officer. Periodically check the work of the junior officer. A senior can supervise several junior officers at a time, but a junior officer can have only one senior officer supervising him or her. So what they are telling is, this is a system for what? මේ system එක මොන වගේ එකකටද හදලා තියෙන්නේ? මේ diagram එක මොන වගේ system එකකටද අපි මේක draw කරන්න යන්නේ? This scenario is related to a hotel management system. Yeah, hotel. Very good, Pulastian Musfik. So customers වෙනවලු hotel එකේ reservation කරනවලු ඒත් එක්ක මෙහි තියෙන facilities ඔක්කොම මෙයාලා පාවිච්චි කරනවලු එතකොට ඒදී customer care services ලා ඉන්නවලු එයාලා මොනවද කරන්නේ they have assigned හරිද මෙයාලා officers ලා assign කරලා තියෙනවා room එක take care කරගන්න ඒ වගේම supervisors ලා යනවා facilities එක maintain කරන්න ඒක හරියට වෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා බලන්න මේ හැම එකක්ම බලාගෙන ඉන්නේ කවුද senior customer care officer මෙයා මොනවද කරගෙන ඉන්නේ මෙයා ඔක්කොම periodically check කරනවා junior officers ලා හරියට කරනවද එයාලට දුන්න වැඩ කියන එක understood so that is what actually happening in this hotel so a senior can supervise several juniors so here they have given senior supervisor can supervise several junior officers at a time okay that has been given and then here they have given mentioned the entities separately but some other entities has not been mentioned so හරිද මෙතන තියෙන සමහර entities ඔයාලට mention කරලා නැහැ ඒකත් ඔයාලා තමයි identify කරලා find out කරන්න and then you have to mention it okay maybe sometimes there could be some other entities as well in the scenario itself okay customer serve okay reservation number customer name address all this can come under attribute and hotel facilities, facility number, description, per hour rate, availability, all this comes under that. Room number, room type, number of bed, and then if you have some other thing in your mind that it could be added furthermore into these attributes that also can be mentioned and you have to add it okay and customer care officer okay employee ID employee name okay all this comes under attributes of this particular entity. So now I have given you two homeworks, which is one is for the tour, isn't it? So tour management system එහෙම මොන එකක් ඔයාලට මේකට තියන්න පුළුවන් නම හරිද? එහෙමත් නැත්නම් yeah tour booking system මොන එකක් ඒ වගේ එකක් හරිද? නැත්නම් tour management system something like that. This is a hotel management system, isn't it? So two case studies, if not you can call it as scenarios have been given. Please try to draw both the ER diagrams for this. So then you will be more familiar with ER diagrams. Okay. Then alter ටිකක් හරි අර familiar වෙලා තියෙනවා. ER diagram එක draw කරන්නේ කොහමද කියන එක මේකෙන් ඔයාලට තේරලා තියෙනවා. But I just want you to do these two practices as well. Then it will be really easy for you to understand when it comes to normalization. This is the basement. හරිද? මේක like මේකට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් like මේ E-draw පුතා E-draw මම එක E-draw කියන එක තමයි නම බලන්න හරි try to download this software and just draw it okay so first you understand හරිද draw කරන්න කලින් understand කරන්න මොනවද entities තියෙන්නේ attributes මොන වගේ ඒවාද තියෙන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාලට පුළුවන් relation එක ඔයාලා ගාව තමයි ඔයාලගේ අතේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ මොන වගේ relation එකක්ද අපි මේකට දෙන්න යන්නේ කියන එක okay so that is one thing now let's move to the presentation which we were going through in the last class okay මං last class එකේ ඔයාලට දෙයක් කියලා දුන්නා relationship එකෙන්ම there are four kind of relationships which is available but still I didn't explained it to you isn't it can you remember මං කිව්වා ඔයාලට example එකත් එක්කම next class එකේ කියලා දෙන්නම් කියලා නේද ඒකේ තියෙන unary relation binary okay relation එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ you know right in order to represent a relation we use what kind of a shape a diamond shape isn't it if an attribute of entity type refers to another entity type then there are some relationship between them so that is what we were discussing all through these presentations isn't it so if a entity if it is trying to relate with another entity then there is a relationship in between them isn't it so ඔයාලට හිතනවා නම් ඒ වගේ relation එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා you have to use a diamond shape in order to represent the relation මේ relation එකම තියෙනවා unary relationship binary relationship ternary relationship n-ary relationship කියලා තියෙනවා we'll just check one by one then unary relationship එකක් ගත්තාම අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් for an example relationship among instance of one entity type ඒ කියන්නේ එකම entity එකත් එක්කම ආයෙත් relation එකක් වෙන එකට අපි කියනවා unary relationship කියලා. This like for an example we can say a student එහෙමත් නැත්නම් මේ entity එක කියමුකෝ person කියලා entity එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා. Okay person කියන එක තමයි entity name එක. Oh, already there was one. Yeah, employees. බලන්න. Employees කියන entity එකේ okay employees කියන entity එකක් තියෙනවා. එයාලා manage කරනවා තව employees ලව නේද? Now if we take one company පුතා in a company managers ලා ඉන්නවා coordinators ලා ඉන්නවා නේද? වෙන CEOs ඉන්නවා නේද? center managers ලා ඉන්නවා. Likewise there are several kind of roles, isn't it? But all these people are known as or else we can consider them as employees නේද? එක්කම employees ලා නේද? එතකොට එක employee කෙනෙක් manage කරනවා තව employee කෙනෙක්ව නේද? එතකොට it comes under like the same thing, isn't it? එකම entity එක තමයි එයා එතකොට අපිට role එක වෙන විදිහට දෙන්න පුළුවන්, isn't it? When we are developing we can say okay employee number, that is the primary key, employee name, employee role කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? ඒ role එක අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් manager කෙනෙක් manage කරනවා අනිත් coordinators ලව, isn't it? So he or she is also an employee. Am I clear? Now for an example we can say person or else yeah a person lives with another person නේද? then එක human කෙනෙක් තව human කෙනෙක් එක තමයි එයා ජීවිතේ මේ live කරන්නේ නේද? isn't it? So it's something like that where you will having one entity which will be related again to the same entity. Okay, so if we take an example student කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා කියලා හිතමු. හරිද? student කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. එතකොට මේ ස්ටුඩන්ට් මොනවද කරන්නේ? ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් ලාගෙම ඉන්නවා ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් ලාගේ රෝල්. ප්‍රිෆෙක්ට්ස් ඉන්නවා නේද? ටීම් like ටීම් ලීඩර් ඉන්නව නේද? ක්‍රිකට් ටීම් ලීඩර්, ෆුට්බෝල් ටීම් ලීඩර් ඒ වගේ ඉන්නවනේ. සෝ එයාලා මැනේජ් කරනවා අනිත් ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් ලව නේද? එතකොට අපි රෝල් එකේ දෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් 001 කියලා ළමයෙක් ඉන්නවා. එයාගේ නම සජිත් කියලා හිතමු. දැන් මේ සජිත් කියන ළමයා එයා තමයි ෆුට්බෝල් ටීම් ලීඩර්. Then what he or she is doing is managing all the other students නේද? එතකොට අනිත් ළමයින්ලා ඉන්නවා නිකන් ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් ලා. එයාලට රෝල් එකක් නැහැ. එයාලා නැහැමත් නැත්නම් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් එයාගේ රෝල් එක ප්‍රිෆෙක්ට් කෙනෙක් නැත්නම් සීනියර් ප්‍රිෆෙක්ට් කෙනෙක් ඒ වගේ. සීනියර් ප්‍රිෆෙක්ට් කෙනෙක් ජූනියර් ප්‍රිෆෙක්ට් කෙනෙක්ව manage කරනවා. Am I clear? Is this is clear? So we can say supervisor is managing their senior supervisor is managing their junior supervisors. So that is also comes under unary relationship. Am I clear? This is clear? Is this relationship is clear? තේරුණාද මේක? Everyone, all the others. පුලස්ති තේරුණාද පුතා? එතකොට තියෙනවා binary relationship. Binary relationship එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ නිකන් then whatever the relationship with that we learned. Okay, එතකොට you can just say teachers teach student. Okay, එහෙමත් නැත්නම් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් president rule country. Okay, if not we can say employee works on projects, engineers works on projects. Okay, am I clear? මේ වගේ එකට අපි කියනවා okay here that also has been given customer place order. Okay, so that is also a kind of a relationship which is a normal relationship. Binary relationship එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ there would be one entity and then another entity would be there, so both the entities will have a relation. ඒකට අපි කියනවා binary relationship එකක් කියලා. And then we have something called ternary relationship. Ternary relationship එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ more than two relation. Okay, entities ඒ කියන්නේ entities තුනක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තුනටම අපි simultaneously relationship among three entity types. හරිද? Same entity or a same relation for all the three entities. Suppliers supply කරනවා items වල items නේද? items supply කරනවා projects වලට project suppliers තමයි supply කරන්නේ projects වලට. හරිද? So like suppliers supplies project, supplier supplies items. Am I clear? Okay, වගේ එකක්. For example, we'll just have a look here. මේ වගේ මේකට අපි කියනවා end ray. Okay, end ray කියන එක තමයි අපි අන්තිමට බලන්න යන්නේ. Unary, they have given some example. Student roommate. හරිද? Students දැන් student කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. එයාගේ roommate තව student කෙනෙක්. Okay, person කෙනෙක් live with another person. Teacher කෙනෙක් works with another teacher. Employee works with another employee. So that is known as unary relationship. And then මේක බලන්න. Okay, මේක බලන්න. Students enrolled in course කියන එක that is just a normal entity relationship එකක්, binary relationship එකක් නේද? Employees work in department. Okay, employees work in locations. Okay, so departments it has been okay, so in the locations we will be having departments. Okay, ඒ වගේ එකකටයි කියන්නේ එකම relation එකට entities තුනක් connect වෙනවා නම් අපි ඒ වගේ එකකට කියනවා what ternary relationship කියලා. And then after the ternary relationship we have something called n-ray relationship. So let me show you. Item, supplier, shipment, project all connects with the supplies. Supplies the items to the project. නේද? suppliers මොනවද කරන්නේ? supply කරන projects වලට supply මොනවද items ටික supply කරනවා. So ඒ වගේම supplies මොනවද supplier supply කරන්නේ මොනවද items. Okay, so item කියලා entity එකක් තියෙනවා නම් you can use the same relation. Here what we are doing is actually using the same entity or else the relationship we will be connecting. Okay, only one relationship only will be there. තේරුණාද? එකම එක relation එකක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ හැම එකකටම. එතකොට වෙන වෙනම අපිට relations අදාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේද? නෑ. And then suppliers supplies shipments. Okay, shipment එකේ ඉඳලා තමයි supplies ගන්නෙ නේද? ඒ වගේ දේවල් තමයි මේකේ එන්නේ. So for example, you can check this out. Doctors prescribed. Okay, prescribes කරන්නේ doctors තමයි කරන්නේ medicines දෙනවා. Patients ලට තමයි prescribe එක දෙන්නේ කවුද? Doctors දෙනවා. Diagnosis ඔක්කොම මොන කවුද බලන්නේ? Doctors ලා prescription එකේ ලියනවා diagnosis එක මොනවාද කියලා. So මේ diagnosis has been given as a prescription to the patient. Okay, මේ patient මේ prescription එකේ තියෙන විදියට medicines ගන්න ඕනේ නේද? Diagnosis එකේ prescription එකේ mention කරලා තියෙනවා for this particular diagnosis these are the medicines කියලා. Understood? So all these four entities are having the same relationship. මේක තේරුණාද? n-ray relation එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ මොනවාද කියලා? Is it clear? Guys, girls, did you understand? අනිත් එක cardinality ratio එක. Cardinality ratio එක we just learned that, but again I'll just go through it so then you will clearly understand what is cardinality ratio is. So multiplicity, if not multiplicity, if not we can call it as cardinality ratio කියලා. So cardinality ratio is specifies the number of relationship instance that an entity can participates in. So 1-to-1 there is an exactly one record in the first table that corresponds to the exact one record in the related table. Okay, you can take it down if you can. Okay, so 1-to-1 කියන්නේ 1-to-1 relation we learned already. ඒ කියන්නේ එක entity එකේ ඉඳලා අපි එක්කෙනෙක්ව ගන්නවා අරන් අපි බලනවා මෙයාගේ relation එක කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ with the other entity. Okay, with one entity or many entity කියලා නේද? So if we are like if it is having a relation, a particular one record, if it having a relationship with the correspondent another entity, exactly another one entity, then that is known as one to one relation. One to many කියන එක, there is more than one record in the second table that correspond to exactly one record in the related table. ඒක තේරෙනවනේ අපි ඒක මේ බැලුවා නේද? So one teacher can have many students, isn't it? One teacher can teach many students, but many students will be learning from one teacher නේද? ඒකට එක one to many කියන ඒ cardinality ඒකත් ඔයාලා මතක තියාගන්න. And many to many like many to many එකේ මොනවද එන්නේ? Many students can follow many courses. At the same time, a course can be followed by many students. There are many records in the first table that corresponded to more than one record in the related table. So that is known as many to many relationship. So we learned all these things. Again, it is being repeated over here. Here, one to one relation. President, the same rules, one country. Okay. මේ වගේ තමයි අපි one to one relation එක ලියාගන්නේ. And then we have one to many. Customer, place, order. One customer can place many order in a supermarket, but that order is not only can be placed to whom? One customer. නේද? ඒ order එකම අරන් වෙන කාට හරි දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? නෑ නේද? So one to many relationship එකට අපි කියනවා this should be what? This should be in. Okay, one to many relation එකට අපි කියනවා one to one relation කියන්නේ one particular entity will have a relation with another entity that is also which is one, but when it comes to one to many කියන්නේ එක entity එකක් relate වෙන many entities එකත් එක්ක, but at the same time අර many side එකේ තියෙන entity එකම එක object එකත් එක්ක තමයි relate වෙන්නේ. So that is known as one to many. And then okay, so this one is we didn't learn yet. Many to many එක තමයි අපි just students follow courses, isn't it? So many students will follow many courses. Okay, sorry, a student will follow many courses. At the same time, a course will be followed by many students. So many to many relation. Nick, make all at clearly understand another is this is clear. Cardinality, relationship among the entities. Hemekak malta terunada. Okay. Ek clear the hemotama kiyanna balanna. Then අපි බලාගෙන යන්න හැම දෙයක්ම which is related to ER diagrams. Okay, so මේ හැම එකක්ම ඔයාලා precisely ER diagram එකක් ඔයාලා assignment එකට එහෙම draw කරනකොට you have to draw it something like this. Okay, like you have to mention the cardinality, and then if there are a composite keys you have to mention multiple valued, okay, multi valued attributes තියෙනවා නම් ඒකත් ඔයාලා පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ, composite attributes පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම තියෙනවා මොනවාද derived attributes, single values නම් ඔයාට ඕනේ නැහැ මොකුත් පෙන්වන්න, but uniquely identify කරන්න primary key attribute එක අනිවාර්යෙන් පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ නේද? So all this has to be mentioned definitely. Okay, so then we'll just have a look at on the okay. So I hope up to that everything is clear. So then participation කියලා තව එකක් තියෙනවා. make a loku deyak nave, but I'll just explain to you. Maybe sometimes even in your what interview, sometimes maybe they might ask you about the participation as well. Hari. So employee kenekuta, usually we don't get their like personal details tiyanawa tama, but usually we don't have like how many children you have, they were lokkamapi balan. But in some cases it might need it. In some cases, in some companies they might get the their family details as well. එතකොට එක employee කෙනෙකුට has many child තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නැතුව තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නේද? Maybe they might can have children or else marry කරලා නැතුව employee කෙනෙක් ඉන්නත් පුළුවන් නේද? ඒ වගේ තියෙනවනේ. So it depends. Okay, it depends. එතකොට අපි total එක පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ නම් මේ වගේ double line කරන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? So mandatory, we call it as mandatory. This is optional. Okay. So optional like we will be using a single line relation between the two entities, and then it has like employees, maybe they might have children or else they might doesn't have children, or maybe they might have many children. It depends. Okay, so in order to show the in like relation, you will be using double line like this. That is not a big deal, but just keep it in your mind. Okay, later on maybe advanced පිගන ගන්නකොට ඒක මම ඔයාලට කියලා දෙන්න. And then entities වල තියෙනවා types. Okay, strong entity කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා, weak entity කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. So strong entity, if we take strong entity as an example, an entity set that has a primary key is termed as strong entity set. Then samara entities තියෙනවා, it doesn't have a primary key. Okay, so some have like some it has a primary key, some doesn't have a primary key. Okay, we'll just have a like check another scenario, then you will understand. At the strong entity එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ, you will be drawing that entity as this. Okay, even when you open e draw, you will be able to see all these things. මේ වගේ double lines තියෙනවා, මේ වගේ single line තියෙනවා, මේ වගේ border එකත් එක්ක තියෙනවා. All these will be there. So you have to understand first of all, so which kind of an environment that we can go for this kind of a entity or this kind of an entity. ඒ කියන එක ඔයාලා understand කරගන්න ඕනේ. So strong entity එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ, it will definitely have a primary key. Primary key කියන්නේ ඔයාලට දන්නව නේද? Uniquely identify කරගන්න. Employee number, student number, cost number, registration number, මේ වගේ තියෙනවා නේද? So uniquely identify කරන්න තමයි අපි primary key attribute එක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. So if entity having that primary key which has been underlined, and if it having that, then that is known as strong entities. When it comes to weak entity, an entity that entity set that does not have sufficient attribute to form a primary key is termed as weak entity. Okay, තේරුණාද මේක? Weak entity එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ, it doesn't have any attributes to mention as primary key. Okay, primary key එකක් විදියට මේක mention කරන්න මෙතන ඒ වගේ attribute එකක් මෙයාට නැහැ. ඒ වගේ entities වලට අපි කියනවා weak entities කියලා. So here they have given an entity type. So employee has an employee ID, employee has employee name. But do we need to have child කෙනෙක්ටත් එයාටත් මේ වගේ ID එකක් දෙන්න ඒ වගේ ඕනේද? Why do we need to have their ID and all? No, right? Do they have a ID? Do they have a phone number? එයාලගේ details ඔක්කොම තියාගෙන වැඩක් නැහැ නේද company එකකින්. employee ගේ details තියනවා නම් that is enough. But this is not going to help us, isn't it? So only the name and age is enough. Okay, in the මේක අපි කියනවා weak entity කියලා. Okay, so this is really a strong entity because it has its own primary key attribute over here. Is this is clear? තේරුණාද මේක? වැළඟිච්චා? Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you how does it looks like. So this is the weak entity and strong entity. Okay, I hope you understood it. So who asked me? E draw එක පෙන්නන්නනේ. මම පෙන්නන්නම්. This is how it would look like. E draw. eDraw Max 8.4 version is the one which I am using currently. Okay, this is the application. Okay, so just search for it, and then if you see something like this, you can easily get it download and install. தேர்னாது மேக்க விளங்கிச்சா? உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் விளங்கிச்சா? இது கிளியரா விளங்கிச்சான்னு சொல்லுங்களே. ஈட்ரோ திஸ் இஸ் த சாஃப்ட்வேர் புத்தா நீங்க பலாகன்னு கிளியரா விளங்கிச்சா இது வரைக்கும்? வீக் என்டிட்டி, strong entity, unary, binary, ternary, n-ary, okay, relationships, and then attribute types. Even attribute එකේ types තියෙනවා, relation එකේ type තියෙනවා, entity එකේ තියෙනවා. ඒක තමයි මේ weak and strong entity කියන එක නේද? Okay, then that's all in this. Then there have been given some examples. Account කියලා entity එකක් තියෙනවා, transactions කියලා entity එකක් තියෙනවා. Okay, so one account can do many transactions, isn't it? Many නේද? එතකොට මෙතන double line කරලා තියෙනවා, you don't need to double line, but many කියලා දැම්ම නම් හරි. So date can be taken as what? Primary key. Like according to this, they are taking the date as ID and type, amount හැම එකක්ම මෙතන attributes විදියට කරලා තියෙනවා. We'll just have a look on this. See, student, member of team. එතකොට බලන්න මෙතන team එකක් තියෙනවා, student ID එකක් තියෙනවා. හරි? එතකොට students ලගේ name, students ලගේ grade හැම එකක්ම තියෙනවා. Then team doesn't have anything like that. Can you see? So it doesn't have any primary key or any other things. So if the student is there, student somehow they should be a member or else leader of something, right? එතකොට ඒ වගේ මෙතන තියෙන එකක් තමයි students members of many team. Okay, එමත් නැත්නම් team එකේ student කෙනෙක් ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. Member of then in one classroom, assume that there are 20 students. Okay, 20 பேர் இருக்கிறாங்க. හරිද? students 20ක් ඉන්නවා කියලා හිතමුකෝ. එතකොට දැන් සමහර ළමයි ඉන්නවා යාලට මොනාරි දැන් ෆුට්බෝල් ටීම් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ සෙල්ලම් කරන්න ආස කට්ටියත් ඉන්නවා නේද? There are people that who wants like willing to pay. But most of the time we can't say that all the students are member of team කියලා කියන්නත් පුළුවන්. බෑ නේද? We can't tell that. Because there could be few students who is not willing to be as a member of a team. නේද? සමහර අය ඉන්නවා ප්ලේ කරන්න කැමතිත් නෑ, මේ සෙල්ලම් කරන්න කැමති නෑ, ඒක නෑ, මේ ලීඩර් වෙන්නත් කැමති නෑ, මොකද අර මොනවත් කරන්න නැතුව ඉන්නව නේද ළමයි? In some schools there are even in your classmate in your class, assume that there are 20 students, ඒකේ කොහොම හරි like දෙන්නෙක් තුන්දෙනෙක් හරි ඉන්නවා, they won't do anything, they even won't participate in the sport meet as well, isn't it? Sport meet එකට එන්නෙත් නෑ, වෙලාවට ස්කෝලේට එන්නෙත් නෑ, ඒ වගේ කට්ටිය ඉන්නව නේද? එතකොට ඒ කැටගරි එක අපි මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? We can't like put them into the team නේද? So that is why they have mentioned it with the double line. See, students ලා හැමෝම member කෙනෙක් team එකට වෙන්නත් බෑ, isn't it? That is why they have mentioned it with the double line. Okay, so some students now, even if like 18 students are member of a team, so that can be done, isn't it? Team එකේ 18 students member කෙනෙක් විදියට ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. Not in all the teams. In team also, football team, cricket team, chess team එහෙම තියෙන්න පුළුවන් නේ. එතකොට ඒකෙන් සමහර teams වල සමහර ළමයින්ස් member වෙලා ඉන්න පුළුවන්. වලංගිච්චා. අප எல்லா ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸையும் எல்லா டீம்லயும் நாங்க மெம்பர் எடுக்க இயலாது. ஏன்னா அப்ப அது எல்லாத்தையும் தான் இன்னைக்கு அவங்க கிளியரா மென்ஷன் பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க. அண்ட் அதுலயும் லீடர்ந்தா அந்த ஒரே ஒரு லீடர் தான் இருப்பாங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்ல. அவர் வந்து என்ன எல்லா இது டீம்லயும் லீடர் ஆயிப்பாரா? இல்ல. ஒரு டீம்ல இப்ப சில டீம்ல வந்து லீடர் ஆயிக்கோ மேலும், இல்லாட்டி லீடர் இல்லாமிக்கோ மேலும். ஏன்னா ஒருத்தர் எடுத்தோம்னு சொன்னா அவங்களுக்கு லீடர் ஆயிக்கோ மேலும், இல்லாட்டி அவங்களுக்கு லீடர் இல்லாமிக்கணும், சும்மா மெம்பரா மட்டும் மிக்கணும்னு விருப்பம்னு சொன்னா just they also can be as a member. Okay, am I clear? Now if you take one student, okay, like if there are 20 students, not all the 20 students would be a member of a team, isn't it? And also we can't say all the 20 students are leader of that particular team, isn't it? In sometimes in one class there won't be even a person, even a single person who is willing to become a leader of a team, isn't it? So their juniors or seniors will become the leader of the team, isn't it? So that's how it works. So you have to clearly mention the relationship. Okay, so then we are having that left section and the team. left section එකෙත් ඒ වගේ තමයි සමහර විට team එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් if not without a team also the left section can be exist isn't it. So that is why 2 lines has been added into this. And the left section perform drag x run, so I don't know what it is. So these are the relations. Okay, so you just have to understand this multi lines. Okay, that is why I just showed you this picture. මේ multi line එක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මේක එක්කෝ මෙතන relation එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් මෙයා නැතුවත් මෙයා ඉන්න පුළුවන්. Still student can exist without this. Okay, student just කෙනෙක් යාට නිකන් ඇවිල්ලා බලාගෙන ඉඳලා හරි යන්න පුළුවන් නේද? එයා කොහමටත් ස්කෝලේට එනවා, කොහමටත් එයා බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා, කොහමටත් එයා ඉගෙන ගන්නවා, but he is not in the team. Understood. So that is that kind of a relationship is this. And then there's another relationship diagram which has been given. This one we learned, we discussed, isn't it? We discussed it as well. Okay, relational model schema. Okay, මේක තමයි අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ දැනට. So now you guys tell me, do you have any doubt related up to this? මොනාරි doubts තියෙනවද? මේක වෙනකන් ඔයාලට ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේවල් වලින් මොනාරි ඔයාලට ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் එකේ හරි නැත්නම් entity එකේ හරි නැත්නම් attribute எதுல சரி உங்களுக்கு ஏதாச்சும் doubts இருக்குதா? எதுவும் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா உங்களுக்கு கேட்கலாம். இப்பவே கேட்கலாம். எதுவும் இருக்குதா? ஓகே நான் சொல்றேன். அது என்னண்டா நீங்க ஓகே பார்ட்டிசிபேஷன் சொன்னா புத்தா விளங்குது உங்களுக்கு ஸ்கிரீன். பார்ட்டிசிபேஷன் சொன்னா சில என்டிட்டிஸ் இருக்கும் சரியா, அந்த என்டிட்டிஸ்க்கு நாங்க சொல்லுவோம் என்னண்டு வீக் என்டிட்டிஸ்ன்னு சொல்லுவோம் சரியா. சில என்டிட்டிஸ்க்கு நாங்க சொல்லுவோம் ஸ்ட்ராங் என்டிட்டின்னு சொல்லி. அது உங்களுக்கு விளங்கிச்சு தானே இன்னைக்கு, ஸ்ட்ராங் என்டிட்டி அண்ட் வீக் என்டிட்டி. அது ஏன் நாங்க அப்படி சொல்லுவோம்? ஸ்ட்ராங் என்டிட்டிஸ்க்கு வந்து பிரைமரி கீக்கும் வீக் என்டிட்டிக்கு வந்து பிரைமரி கீ ஈக்காது சரியா. அப்ப இந்த டபுள் லைன் கான்செப்ட் என்னன்னு சொன்னா இதுக்கு நாங்க சொல்லுவோம் மெண்டட்டரி அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ இந்த மெண்டட்டரி என்னன்னு சொன்னா டோட்டல் எத்தனை சரியா. இப்ப எம்ப்ளாயி ஒருத்தருக்கு வந்து டோட்டலா வந்து எத்தனை சில்ட்ரன்ஸ் ஈக்கலும். சிலாக்களுக்கு இல்லாம ஈக்கலாம், சிலாக்களுக்கு ஒருத்தர் ஈக்கலாம், சிலாக்களுக்கு மல்டிபிள் சில்ட்ரன் ஈக்கலாம், 5 6 சொல்லி நிறைய ஈக்கலாம். டிபெண்ட்ஸ் ஏன்னா. அப்ப எங்களுக்கு சொல்லல ஒரே ஒரு இதுதான் நீக்க முடியும் சொல்லி இல்லாம மீக்கலாம். இந்த ரிலேஷன் வந்து சம்டைம்ஸ் இல்லாம மீக்கலாம். அதனாலதான் நாங்க இப்படி டபுள் லைன் பண்ணி வச்சோம். ஏண்டா எம்ப்ளாயின்னு சொல்றதுக்கு வந்து சைல்டு, இப்ப சிலாக்கள் மெரி பண்ணாத எம்ப்ளாயிஸும் மீப்பாங்க. ஸோ அந்த மெரி பண்ணாத எம்ப்ளாய்க்கு எப்படியும் சைல்டு ஈக்குமா, ஆனா எப்படியுமே நாங்க இந்த ரிலேஷனை வந்து வச்சுக்க வேணும். ஏன்னா சம்டைம்ஸ் சில எம்ப்ளாயிஸ் வந்து கட்டாயம் மெரி பண்ணிப்பாங்க, அவங்களுக்கு சில்ட்ரன் ஈக்கலாம். சிலாக்கள் மெரி பண்ணியும் சில்ட்ரன் இல்லாதாக்கள் ஈக்கலாம் isn't it. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இட் டிபெண்ட்ஸ். அந்த டிபெண்டுக்காக வேண்டி நாங்க என்ன சொல்லுவோம், இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு ரிலேஷனை வந்து நாங்க இது பண்ணுவோம் சரியா. டோட்டல் எவ்வளோ ஈக்குதுன்னு சொல்லி இல்லாம மீக்கலாம். இப்ப இன்னைக்கு வந்து அந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் இருந்துச்சு. இது என்னோட சொன்னா சில ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வந்து இப்ப ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ன்றே வந்து கட்டாயம் ஒரு ஸ்கூல்ல இருக்க வேண்டிய ஒரு ஐடென்டிட்டி. ஆனா டீம் சொல்றது வந்து எல்லா ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டும் எல்லா டீம்லயும் வந்து மெம்பர் ஆயிப்பாங்களா? 20 ஸ்டூடெண்ட் இருக்கிறாங்க ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல, அந்த 20 ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டும் எல்லா ஃபுட்பால் கிரிக்கெட் எல்லா டீம்லயும் மெம்பர் ஆயிப்பாங்களா? ஈப்பாங்களா முஸ்பிக்? ஒருத்தர் 2 பேர் ஈப்பாங்க, எனக்கு ஏலடா வரதுக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு போறாக்கள் ஈப்பாங்க ஏன்னா. சோ அந்த 2 பேத்துக்காக வேண்டிட்டு எங்களுக்கு இந்த ரிலேஷன் இல்லாம கேளுமா? ஏலா அந்த ரிலேஷன் கட்டாயம் ஈக்க வேணும். அப்ப அந்த ரெண்டு பேத்துக்காக வேண்டிட்டு தான் இந்த மாதிரி நாங்க டபுள் லைன் பண்ணுவோம். ஏண்டா சில டைம்ஸ் ஒருத்தருமே மெம்பர் இல்லாம ஈக்கோ மேலும், அதே மாதிரி சில நேரத்துக்கு எல்லாரும் மெம்பரா வீக்கோ மேலும், சில நேரத்துக்கு ஒரு 5 பேர் மெம்பரா வீக்கோ மேலும், இல்லாட்டி ஒரு 10 பேர் மெம்பரா வீக்கோ மேலும், அது டிபெண்ட்ஸ் என்ன. அந்த மெம்பர் ஆவிக்கிறதுனால தான் நாங்க இதை வந்து இன்னைக்கு டபுள் லைன் பண்ணிக்கிறோம் சரியா. அப்ப இங்கால ஏண்டா இது வந்து எத்தனை டீம்ல எங்களுக்கு சொல்லல. இப்ப ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வந்து ஒரு டீம்ல ஃபுட்பால் டீம்ல மெம்பர் ஆயிரண்டு, எங்களுக்கு கிரிக்கெட் டீம்லயும் அவர் மெம்பர் ஆயிக்கிறேன்னு சொல்லல. அப்ப அதனால தான் நாங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கும் டபுள் லைன் பண்ணி இந்த டீமுக்கும் வந்து டபுள் லைன் பண்ணிக்கணும். ஏண்டா மேபி சம்டைம்ஸ் ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வந்து ஃபுட்பால் டீம்ல மெம்பர் ஆயிக்கிறாரு, பட் அட் த சேம் டைம் அவர் வந்து கிரிக்கெட் டீம்ல வந்து இல்ல. சரியா? அந்த மாதிரி இதுல நாங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட் லீடர் ஒன்றே எடுப்போம். லீடர் ஒண்டிக்கிறாரு. இவர் வந்து சில டைமுக்கு வந்து ஒரு டீம்லயுமே லீடர் இல்லாம மேலும் இல்லாட்டி ஒரு டீம்ல லீடர் ஆயிக்கலாம், இல்லாட்டி 2-3 டீம்லயும் லீடர் ஆயிக்கலாம். நினைச்சா அதனால நாங்க இதுக்கும் டபுள் லைன் பண்ணிக்கிறோம். ஸோ ஒன்று ஐக்கோ மேலும் ஒன்று இல்லாமிக்கோ மேலும் இல்லாட்டி நிறைய வைக்கோ மேலும். இந்த மாதிரி லெஃப்ட் செக்ஷன்ல வந்து டீம் இது கட்டாயம் ஸ்கூல் லீக்கிறது உண்டு. டீம்ஸ் வந்து லெஃப்ட் செக்ஷன் லீக்குதான். சரியா? அப்ப எல்லா லெஃப்ட் செக்ஷனுக்கும் வந்து எல்லா ஒரு வெப் செக்ஷன்ல வந்து நிறைய டீம்ஸ் சம்டைம்ஸ் ஈக்கோ மேலும் இல்லாம ஈக்கோ மேலும் இல்லாட்டி நிறைய ஈக்கோ மேலும் நிறைய டீம்ஸ் ஈக்கோ மேலும். விளங்கிச்சா முஸ்பிக்? கிளியரா அது? ஓகே, நீங்க அதை கொஞ்சம் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணுங்க. நான் தந்த சினாரியோஸை வந்து நீங்க ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணீங்கன்னு சொன்னா யூ வில் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஸோ த நெக்ஸ்ட் திங் வாட் வி கோயிங் டு லேர்ன் இஸ் relational model scheme. Schema a set of attribute is called a relation schema or relational schema. Okay, relation schema nathang relational schema kela. A relation schema is also known as table schema. Okay, if not scheme kela. A relation schema can be thought of as the basic information describes a table or relation. It is the logical definition of a table. Relation schema defines what the name of the table is. This includes a set of columns and names. Order of creating relational schema uses ERD. Okay. So relation schema சொன்னா என்னன்னு சொன்னா, இப்ப நாங்க எடுத்தோடனே எங்களுக்கு ரிலேஷன் டயக்ராம் ஈக்குதுன்னு சொல்லி எங்களுக்கு ஒரு டேபிள் ஒன்றை கிரியேட் பண்ணி அப்படியே எங்களுக்கு டேட்டாஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் இன்சர்ட் பண்ணி ஒரு டேட்டா பேஸை செய்யலாது. Okay, we can't just get the diagram and develop a database and just can't insert all the data into the table. Okay, so there is something called data relational schema. Okay, so relational schema is something where set of attributes, each and entities are known as tables, right? So that tables will having this set of attributes, isn't it? So relational schema defines what are the names of the table and what are the fields that is going to be in this table. Okay, so for example, okay, here relation, okay, attribute. Now assume relation kela kyanne, that is the name of the entity. Okay, attribute 1 2 3 kela kyanne, the attributes which whatever that is related to the entity. Okay, so for example, they have given employee is a what, that is the entity, but they have written all the attributes inside the bracket. තේරුණාද? දැන් අපි ඊයර් ඩයග්‍රෑම් එක බලලා රිලේෂනල් ස්කීමා එක තමයි දෙවනියට අපි ලියාගන්නේ මේ විදියට. If not, you can just method දෙකක් තියෙනවා. You can either write like this, if not you can just edit inside the table kind of thing. Okay, ඒකට relation එක මෙතන දාලා what are the attributes කියලා මෙතන ලියන්න පුළුවන්. employee කියන එක තමයි entity, employee number, employee name, age, NIC කියලා ඔයාලට ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, okay, look at this. So this is just a ER model relation නේද? මේක නිකන් ER model එක. මෙතන මොනවා තියෙන්නේ? employee කියන එක entity. So here employee, that is the relation. මේක relational schema කියලා කියන්නේ you will write something like this. If not, you will draw a kind of a table. So the ID and the employee name has been written inside the bracket. This is how you just convert the same ER diagram into something like this. Okay, that is how we write the schema. So here, just highlight everything. Now you tell me what could be here. Entity එක ඇතුලේ මොනවද තියෙන්න පුළුවන් දෙන්න එයිකලම් මිනිකි. What could be here? It's employee, right? Employee, very good Pulasti. Employee. So employees having ID and name, as well as this attribute has been composited. First name, mid name, last name. So that can be written in relational schema as this. Employee ID එක අපි underline කරනවා මෙතන. First name, mid name, last name. Just inside the bracket, you are writing everything. That's it. Okay. And then another example. How a multi-valued attribute can be written in relational schema. That cannot be written as it is. Okay. So we need to move this. I'll explain this to you. Okay. Then relational schema එකක් ලියනකොට නැත්නම් draw කරනකොට ID. Okay. බලන්න. So multi-valued attribute එකකට අපි කොහමද? Then composite attribute එකකට නිකන් ඔය okay employee තමයි attribute entity එක. This is the ID, so we have underline it. නේද? Underline කරලා තියෙනවා, and then you have all the other composite names as well. But when it comes to this, මම මේක ඔයාලට expand කරලා පෙන්නන්නම්. Okay, now it is clear, right? Here, composite attribute එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ, you know, from one particular attribute, if we can divide furthermore sub attributes, that is known as composite attribute. නේද? එතකොට අපි EID කියන එක, we know that is the primary key. Then we in the relational schema also we will be mentioning it as like underlining it as the primary key has to be underlined. Then only it will be mentioned as the primary key. එතකොට අනිත් හැම එකක්ම බලන්න නිකන් අපි එඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා. When it comes to this multi-valued attribute එක බලන්න, phone number we know that is a multi-valued attribute. But පුතා, look at this. And employee is the entity here. But why? But we have phone number එකටත් වෙනම අපිට මේ වගේ entity එකක් හදලා තියෙනවා. So this is going to create two tables, isn't it? Two tables නේද? මෙහෙම දෙකක් එනවා නම් it's going to be two tables. Yes, it is going to be two tables. Okay. So you have to make sure soon after ER diagram is drawn, you have to come up with this relational schema for that as well. Okay. So employee බලන්න, employee කියන එකේ ID එක තියෙන employee ID, employee name. But multi-valued attribute එකටම කියලා වෙනම අපි entity relation එක එළිය දාලා මේ ID එකට අදාළ phone number ඒකත් අපි මේ වගේ line කරනවා. Okay. So EID also has to be underlined, and then both has to be underlined. Okay, මේ වගේ මේක underline කරන්න ඕනේ, ඒත් එක්කම තව underline දෙකටමත් කරන්න ඕනේ. And then තව phone number එකක් තියෙනවා නම් we can add that as well. Another phone number, another phone number, another phone number likewise. Okay. So this has to be cleared. Multi-valued attribute එකකට අපි වෙනම මේ වගේ relational schema දෙකක් add කරගන්නවා. Okay, we will be having two schemas, two tables. Am I clear? Am I clear? Is that is clear? වැළංගිච්චයිද? මේක තේරුණාද? Then make a multi-valued attribute එකක් නම් දැන් හිතමුකෝ මෙතන අපි කියමු experience එහෙමත් නැත්නම් qualifications කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. Qualification කියන්නේ multi-valued attribute එකක් නේද? එතකොට මේ qualification කියන එක අපි මෙතනින්ම දාන්න නැහැ. We won't add that here over here itself. Okay. Separately we will be creating another table just for the qualification. හරිද? qualification එකට කියලා වෙනම එකක් හදලා මේ ID, okay, මේ ID තියෙන කෙනාට මේ qualification මේ qualifications තියෙනවා කියලා we can add it at like furthermore. Understood? Okay, several qualifications can be added. So for that we have to add two relation schemas like this. We have to divide it into two. Now this is one relation, but we have to divide it into two when it comes to relational schema. Is this is clear? තේරුණාද? ඒක තේරුණාද? කියන්න මේක තේරුණාද? எல்லாத்துக்கும் වැළඟිචා? Yes. Clear, right? So when it comes to your case, when you are doing your this also, I'll be later on I'll be asking, now itself don't want, but later on I will ask you to come up with a relational schema as well. Relational schema එකක් නැතුව අපිට නිකන් develop කරන්න යන්න බෑ. එතකොට තමයි අර validity ඔක්කොම නැති වෙන්නේ. හරිද? validity එක නැති වෙනවා, ඔක්කොම දේවල් ඔක්කොම නැති වෙන්නේ එහෙමත් ඒකෙන් තමයි. Guys, if you can, for the I have given you two like what case studies right දෙකක් දීලා තියෙනව නේද නම් ඔයාලට ரெண்டு தந்தி කියන තැන case studies so அதுல என்ன செய்யுங்கன்னு சொன்னா அந்த ரெண்டுக்குமே வந்து நீங்க இந்த மாதிரி ரிலேஷனல் ஸ்கீமா வந்து எழுதி கொண்டு வரையலுமா can you do that can you write down the relational schema for both keep the ER diagram separately below that write down the relational schema for the same ER diagram so if you are having multi-valued attribute in it then you have to have two relations isn't it likewise can you do that පුළුවන්ද කියලා කියන්නකෝ ළමයින් පුළුවන් නම් කියන්න ඔයාලට ඒකත් කරගෙන එන්න පුළුවන්ද relational schema also can write Sanjay Mush plus the okay right you just try yeah try then you will understand just try okay just what you do below the ER diagram write down the entity name and then inside the bracket type write the all the attributes okay ඒත් එක්කම multi valued attribute එකක් තිබ්බනම් වෙනම එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. ඒ multi value එකටම කියලා වෙනම relation එකක් හදලා ඒකෙදි මෙයාගේ මේ ID තියෙන කෙනාට මේ phone number එක තියෙනවා. එයාට තව phone number එකකුත් තියෙනවා. qualification මේක තියෙනවා, මේකත් තියෙනවා, මේ වගේ path 3ක් 4ක් කියලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Isn't it? You just give it a try, okay? All of you. Okay, fine. And then we have to learn about the normalization. Okay, we'll see. Wait, give me a minute. Okay, mang tawa ටිකක් කියලා දෙන්නම්. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 slides. We'll just mang ඔයාලට ටක් ගාලා කියලා දෙන්නම්. හරිද? I won't take much time because we have to learn about the normalization. In the next class, some more we will be starting to develop. So for that, we have to finish it off soon. Okay, so I'll just give you the idea behind the constraint. Well structured relationship එකක්. Okay, then අපි relationship එකක් ලියාගත්තා. ER diagram එකේ draw කරගත්තා කියලා කියමු. Okay, we having the ER diagram and then also we have normalized not normalized we have come up with the relational schema. Okay, so relational schema has been separatedly done, everything is fine. Then අපි ඒකටම කියලා structure එකක් තියෙනවා. හරිද? domain constraint. Okay, so there are like integrity constraint කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. In that it comes under main 3 integrity constraints. Domain integrity constraints, entity differential integrity constraints කියලා තියෙනවා. Domain okay, this is not big deal, I'll just explain you. All the values which appears in a column of a relation must be taken of the same domain. Domain is a set of value that can be assigned to an attribute. Domain කියලා කියන්නේ the same values that can be assigned to an attribute කියලා කියන්නේ then එක attribute එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා හිතමුකෝ නිකන් හිතමු අපි employee number කියලා. ඒ employee number එකට එහෙමත් නැත්නම් employee name එහෙමත් නැත්නම් employee phone number මොනාර එකක් එහෙම ගමු. Okay, so for that there should be a domain name. Okay, what kind of a data type that is going to be this is. then phone number එකක් නම් ඒක මොන වගේ data type එකක්ද, address එකක් නම් ඒක මොන වගේ data typeද, length එක address එකට අපි ලොකුවට දෙන්න ඕනේ, පොඩි නමක් නම් ඒකට අපි පොඩි length එකක් දුන්න නම් හරි නේද. ඒ වගේම allowable range කොච්චර අපි range එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ, කොහමද මේක allow වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා එක. ඒ වගේම ඒක password එකක් නම් we have to hide the text, isn't it? Likewise domain කියලා කියන්නේ domain identification කියලා කියන්නේ the attribute එකකට අපි දෙන අර දේවල්. මේ attribute එක මොන වගේ attribute එකක්ද, like here are the student or the user is going to give any numbers as an input, or else integer as an input, or else string data type as an input, or else මොන වගේ meaning එකක්ද මේකේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලට අපි කියනවා domain integrity constraint කියලා. Okay, the length has to be set, and then the allowable range has to be set, data type has to be set, all these things. When we are yes, Puta. எஸ்.
டொமைன் நேம் வந்து இந்த சேவர் உண்டா மேடம்? இந்த சேவர்ல
இல்ல
வந்து
இல்ல
நாங்க வந்து
இல்ல இல்ல டொமைன் நேம்டா வந்து புத்தா அது டொமைன் நேம் அது வேற சரியா. அது வந்து வெப்சைட் நீங்க கிரியேட் பண்ணக்குள்ளே டொமைன் என்று சொல்றது வந்து அது ஒரு மெயினான ஒரு விஷயம் அப்படித்தான் நீங்க எடுத்துக்கணும் சரியா. எல்லாத்துக்குமே வந்து நீங்க டொமைன் வந்து அது அந்த டொமைன் தான். இப்ப நாங்க டொமைன் பார்த்தோம்னா அந்த என்னது இப்ப ஃபேஸ்புக்குன்னு சொல்லி facebook.com சொல்றது வந்து ஒரு டொமைன் நேம். ஓகே, ஸோ வி கால் தட் ஆஸ் டொமைன் நேம். ஸோ அதுல வந்து டாப் லெவல் டொமைன், லோ லெவல் டொமைன் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்குது. பட் நாங்க டேட்டா பேஸை பத்தி தானே புத்தா படிக்கிறோம் இப்ப சரியா. நீங்க டேட்டா பேஸ் கிரியேட் பண்ணக்குள்ளே ஒரு அட்ரிபியூட்டுக்குன்னு சொல்லி நிறைய டொமைன் லைக் வேல்யூஸ் ஈக்கும் சரியா. அப்படின்னா ஒரு அட்ரிபியூட் வந்து எந்த மாதிரியான டைப் ஆஃப் அட்ரிபியூட் இஸ் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி விளங்கிச்சா. நாங்க அது படிப்போம். நீங்க வந்து நிறைய நான் உங்களுக்கு சொல்லி தரக்குள்ள நல்லா கிளியரா விளங்கும். இப்ப இத்தனை இது டெக்ஸ்ட்னால உங்களுக்கு அவ்வளவு விளங்காது சரியா. நான் உங்களுக்கு பொதுவா எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் அந்த டைமுக்கு சொல்லுவேன். ஐ thought you something called domain integrity constraint, so that is what I am currently working on அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவேன். Okay, when we are developing, in most probably in the next class we will be doing, right? So at that time I will mention you, so this is what we learned in the last class, can you remember? So you have to link both the things together. Okay, நீங்க லிங்க் பண்ணிக்கோங்க அந்த டைமுக்கு. ஸோ இது என்னன்னு சொன்னா புத்தா, இது வந்து நீங்க இப்ப எட் பண்ணிக்கிற காலம்ஸ் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா ஒரு அட்ரிபியூட்டிக்கு தானே. அந்த அட்ரிபியூட்டுக்கான அந்த அட்ரிபியூட் வந்து எந்த மாதிரியான அட்ரிபியூட், அது வந்து ஒரு நேமா. ஓகே, அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு நாங்க நேம் கொடுப்போம் எப்படியுமே. அப்படின்னா இப்ப அட்ரிபியூட்டுக்கு டொமைன் நேம்னு சொன்ன என்ன தெரியுமா, நாங்க அட்ரிபியூட்டுக்கு ஒரு நேம் கொடுப்போமே. ஐடி இல்லாட்டி நேம் இல்லாட்டி எஸ்ஐடி, எஸ் நேம், ரெஜிஸ்டர் நம்பர், ஆர்இஜி நம்பர் அந்த மாதிரி. அதுக்கு நாங்க சொல்லுவோம் என்னது டொமைன் நேம் சொல்லி. கிளியர்? am I clear? சரியா. இந்த டொமைன் நேம் வந்து வெப்சைட் டொமைன் நேமுக்கு நீங்க வந்து ரிலேட் பண்ணிக்கொள்ள வேணும். திஸ் இஸ் நாட் இட் இஸ் நாட் த www.fb.com or that not kind of a domain name like that. Okay, so this is separate domain name which is related to the database, only for the database. இல்லைங்கச்சா. அதுல வந்து டாப் லெவல் டொமைன், லோ லெவல் டொமைன் அப்படியெல்லாம் இருக்குது சரியா. லைக் .com .in இதெல்லாம் வந்து நாங்க டாப் லெவல் டொமைன் அப்படியெல்லாம் சொல்லலாம். தட் இஸ் அ செப்பரேட் திங். ஓகே, அது வந்து வெப்சைட் ரிலேட்டடானது. டோன்ட் அதேம் இதேம் ரெண்டுமே வந்து போட்டு குழப்பிக்கொள்ள வேணுமே. ஸோ இதுல வந்து நீங்க கொடுக்க போற அந்த கொலமுக்குன்னு சொல்லி கொடுக்க போற இல்லாட்டி அந்த அட்ரிபியூட்டுக்குன்னு சொல்லி கொடுக்க போற நேமுக்கு நாங்க சொல்லுவோம் டொமைன் நேம். I will mention, don't worry, when I am teaching in the next class. Okay, so somehow we will be creating a table. In the table, okay, now I will create a table for the scenario which I gave you, either it for the tour or else to the hotel. Okay, මොනාරි ඒ වගේ ඒ දෙකටම මොනාරි එකකට අපි database එක develop කරමු. So first we will be coming up with the relational schema. Relational schema එක බලලා අපි මොනවද කරන්නේ, normalize කරලා ඊට පස්සේ තමයි data table එක හදාගන්නේ. ඒ table එක හදනකොට එක හැම මේ attribute එකකටම කියලා අපි length එකක් දෙනවා. මේකේ දැන් හිතමුකෝ address කියලා. So address வந்து கொஞ்சம் length ஆயிக்கணும். ஏன்னா அதுல ஒரு 100 characters சரி குடுக்கலுமானதா ஈக்கணும். ஆனா அதே நேமுக்கு வந்து நாங்க 100 கேரக்டர்ஸ்னு கொடுக்கணுமா? தேவையில்லைண்ணா. லென்த் கூடிய இருந்தா அது நேமுக்கு தேவையில்லை. 100 கேரக்டர்ஸ் யாருமே டைப் பண்ண போறது இல்ல. அதுக்கு எங்களுக்கு ஒரு 50 இல்லாட்டி 25 அந்த மாதிரி கொடுக்கலாம். நம்ம கிளியர் புதா விளங்கிச்சா. ஸோ டொமைன் கன்ஸ்ட்ரெயின்ட் கிடைக்கியான்னு ஃபார் த பர்டிகுலர் காலம், the range of the column or else the name of the column, the meaning of it, the data type that which you're going to apply, the length of the column or else the data which is going to be inserted, that is known as domain integrity constraint. I hope that is clear. Then there is something called entity integrity contains. So the entity integrity contain rules ensure that every relation must have primary key and the data value of the primary key is not null. Okay, so since it is unique, it should not be null. I'll explain. Okay, particularly entity integrity constraint guarantees that the every primary keys attributes, that every primary key attributes will have a valid value. Yeah, and a null is a value that may be assigned to an attribute when no other values applied or applicable. A null does not mean blank or empty. Okay, so நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட்க்கு வந்து நல் நாட் நல்ண்டா என்னன்னு நீங்க தெரிஞ்சுக்கொள்ளணும். நல்லுன்னு சொன்னோம்டா சரியா, இவங்க என்ன சொல்லிக்கிறாங்கண்டா நல்லுண்டா இப்ப சும்மா ஒரு இடம் உண்டிக்குது. இப்ப இப்ப நீங்க ஒரு ஃபார்ம் வந்து ஃபில் பண்ண தந்திக்கிறாங்க. ஓகே, assume that someone has given you a form to fill. Okay, when you are getting registered to get week for this course, you might have filled the form, right? So for example, I'll tell, so in that form they have asked you to fill out your name, your address, your phone number, your email address, and then we'll say NIC, all these things. So there is a student who doesn't have an email address. Okay, assume. Then එතකොට එයා කියනවා මට නම් email address එකක් නැහැ කියලා. Then what will happen is a null value will be placed in that particular place. Okay, null කියලා කියන්නේ එතන මොකුත් නැහැ. But instead of nothing, instead of blank, there would be some other like zero වගේ ඒ වගේ value එකක් එතන වැටෙනවා. Okay, empty නැත්තම් blank කියලා කියන්න බෑ. But zero value එකක් වගේ එතන වැටෙනවා. Okay, so fill කරලා ඔයා දැන් සුපර්වයිසර්ට දෙනවා කියලා හිතමුකෝ, නැත්තම් කෝඩිනේටර්ට දෙනවා කියලා. එතකොට එයා ඒ තැන හරි කට් කරනවා, නැත්තම් 00 කියලා දානවා, නැත්තම් නිකන් වෙන මොන හරි email address එකක් fill කරනවා, like it's null. Nothing is going to, your value is not going to be inserted. But not null කියලා කියන්නේ definitely the field has to be filled. Your name, your address, phone number, this has to be definitely filled. If not, you are not going to be registered. Okay, you will not be able to register. Got it? So make a entity integrity constraint එක මොනවද එන්නේ නම් not null කියන එක, මේකේ primary key කියන එක අනිවාර්යෙන් fill වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ field එක. If it is not filled, if it is null, then the system is not going to give you the permission to continue. Okay, එතකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔයාගේ register ID එහෙමත් නැත්නම් employee number මොනාර එකක් තියෙනවනේ, ඒක අනිවාර්යෙන් එතන fill වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ table එකක් තියෙනවා නම් unique ID key එක විතරක් කොහොමනත් ඒක fill වෙලා තමයි තියෙන්න ඕනේ. All the fields will have a value. Okay, no, there won't be even a single column or else a cell which won't have the value. All the cells will have a value. Okay, so not null කියන්නේ entity integrity constraint එක එන එකක්. And then referential integrity constraint. In relational data model, association between tables are defined through the use of foreign key. Referential integrity constraint is a role that mentions consistency among related rows or two relations or of two relations. The rule states that if there is a foreign key value must match with the primary key value in another table, or else the foreign key value must be null. Okay, on other words, the rule states the relation is a relational database must not contain any unmatching foreign keys references. Okay, මේකට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්, like assume that there's a table, you know about this foreign key. Now from one table will have unique key, right? If we are using that unique key in another table, that is known as foreign key. නේද? මම ඔයාලට මුලින්ම කියලා දුන්න එකක්. foreign key කියන එක මම කියලා දුන්නා නේද? එක table එකේ තියෙන primary key එක වෙන table එකකින් අපි පාවිච්චි කරනවා නම් we can call it as foreign key. Can you remember? Okay, நான் சொன்னேன், நான் ஃபமிக்குதா? Okay, so foreign key ன்னு சொன்னா ஒரு டேபிள்ல இருக்கிற primary key வந்து நாங்க இன்னொரு டேபிள்ல யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம், அதுக்கு நாங்க foreign key டுவோம். So referential integrity constraint சொன்னா நாங்க வந்து ஒரு டேபிள்ல இருக்கிற அந்த இதை வந்து நாங்க யூஸ் பண்றோம் இல்லண்டா, சரியா? ஒரு foreign key நாங்க யூஸ் பண்றோம் இல்லண்டா, அது வந்து மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த டைம் வந்து நல் ஆயிக்கணும். அப்படி இல்லாட்டி வந்து அன்னைக்கு வந்து ஒரு கீ வந்து ஆட் பண்ணப்பட வேணும், சரியா? ஒரு பிரைமரி கீ வந்து ஆட் பண்ணப்பட வேணும். So that is referential integrity constraint. So we'll just somehow will be learning. Okay, okay, and then well structured relationship constraint, minimum. Okay, redundancy. Yeah, redundancy එක well structured relationship එකක්. දැන් මේක කියලා තියෙන්නේ ඔයා relation database එකක් හදුවා, and then you are having the relational schema. So why we are doing all these things is because puta, then you will be having a well structured relational database. Okay, local company එකකට relational database එකක් හදන්න යනවා නම් you can't at once now see how many things that you have to learn, isn't it? ஒரு ஒழுங்கான டேட்டாபேஸ் வந்து செய்ய வேணும்னு சொன்னா நீங்க எவ்வளவு விஷயங்கள் தெரிஞ்சிக்க வேணும். So it should not be redundant. Okay, redundant னு சொன்னா repeatedly வந்து ஒரே விஷயம் வந்து repeat ஆகி கொண்டு இருக்கப்படாது. Okay, and it should be allows the users to insert කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ, update කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ, delete කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ rows in table without constraint. Okay, so rows in table எல்லா டேபிள்ல வந்து எங்களுக்கு இன்சர்ட் பண்ண எலுமைக்கணும் எல்லாமே ஈஸியா செய்ய எலுமைக்கணும் யூசருக்கு. If it is a well structured table, each row of the table contains data description, okay, describing one entity, and modifying you can do for the entity is confident to one row. Okay, then well structured table එකක් නම් ඒකෙදී ඔයාලා හැම entity එකකටම description එකක් වගේ එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. හරිද? So we'll be doing, when we are doing that, we will be somehow adding that. So I'll just show you an example. Look at this. Okay, so student ID කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. Okay, 1 to 5 කියන එක student ID. එයාගේ නම මේක සිල්වා කියන එක. And the campus who he is learning is Colombo campus. And then major. Okay, major is something like they have given POG or something. And then course ID. එයා follow කරන course එක මෙතන දීලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ courses තමයි එයා follow කරන්නේ. CAPP කියන එක. So 2 courses he is following currently, 2 courses නේද? එතකොට title of that course, both the courses has been given. And then INS name, okay, has been given. And then INS LOC location, I think, okay, that has been given. Here B block something blocks has been given. Marks of that particular student. එතකොට මේ student follow කරනවා courses දෙකක්. ඒ courses ට අදාළ දේවල් තමයි මේක. And this student name, the campus and everything. What are the courses this student is following? So he is following 3 courses. Okay, so all the details which is related to this course or these courses has been given in this site. Am I clear? තේරුණාද මේක? මේ වගේ තමයි ඔයාලත් table හදාගන්න ඕනේ. We learn, okay? And anomalies, we will be learning this thing. When a table is poorly structured, anomalies, normalization එක තමයි බලන්න යන්නේ. Normalization, okay, so poorly structured table එකක් නම් ඒකදී ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපිට delete කරන්න, insert කරන්න මේ functions ටික කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා. And then redundancy එක වැඩි වෙනවා, modify එක කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා. Okay, මේකට අපි කියනවා anomalies කියලා. Okay, so there are inserting in anomalies, delete anomalies, modification anomalies are available. Like all these anomalies comes when it is not like well structured. If it is poorly structured only, all these anomalies occurs. Understood? Errors එන පුළුවන්. Okay, ඒ හින්දා අපි මොනවද කරන්නේ නම් normalization කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. then ඔයාලට දන්නවා database එකක් ER diagram එකක් හදලා, okay, ER diagram එක අපි මොනවද කරන්නේ, we are converting it into relational schema. Okay, but we will be doing soon after. Not confirm Putta, Shafa, I'll inform. Okay, so soon after you draw the ER diagram, you will be coming up with the relational schema. Relational schema එකේ තමයි මේ normalization කියන එක අපි කරන්නේ. Okay, I'll show you an example. Normalization. මේ බලන්න. Okay, so normalization එකේ we have to go. Okay, functional dependency. Functional dependency කියන්නේ මොනවද කියලා බලමු. The functional dependency is a constraint between 2 attributes or 2 set of attributes. 2 attributes or 2 set of attributes. For a relation, or attribute B is fully functionally dependent on an attribute. For every valid instance of A, the value of A uniquely determines value of B. Functional dependency B on A is responsible by a row. Okay, functional dependency කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් හිතන්න this particular attribute is fully depend on A කියන මේ attribute එකට. Fully depend. Okay, ඒකට අපි කියනවා functional dependency කියලා. then අපි A කියන attribute එක, for example, if we take it as 1001 කියන employee number, so employee කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා මෙතන, එයාගේ නම ප්‍රදීප් කියලා හිතන්න. So Pradeep is fully depend on that particular ID, or else the ID is fully depend on the employee. Understood? මේ ID එක මෙයාට විතරයි, නැත්නම් වෙන කාට හරි දෙනවද? Now your ID, your registration number, KAN number is fully depend on you. Okay, you are not going to share it with others. Your NIC number is fully depend on you. You can't just exchange it with your friends or your family, isn't it? So that kind of an attribute, or else ekata api kina functional dependency kiyala. So in the normalization, there is something called functional dependency, where one attribute is going to be fully functionally depend on another attribute. Ekata api kiyenawa fully functional dependency kiyala. Am I clear? For example, we can say student marks එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා. එතකොට මෙයාගේ marks එක මෙයාට විතරයි නේද? So now you can't share it with others. Now, like for example, we can say ඔයාගේ but NIC is something like that. Okay, NIC cannot be shared with others, right? It's fully depend on you. So ඒ වගේ relation එකට අපි කියනවා normalization එකේ fully functional dependency කියලා. Okay, and then here are some examples. Functional dependency. Okay, look at this. Student number. Okay, student number again. Student, okay, student කියන එක තමයි entity. Student number, student name, student address are there. Okay, so determination. Okay, determinate is this. Okay, so we can just take this as the primary key. Okay, so student name is the primary key. Name is fully depend on student name. Address is also fully depend on but the student name. තේරුණාද? මේ දෙකම ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙන්නේ කාටද? දැන් ඇඩ්‍රස් එක අපි ඩිපෙන්ඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන් නේම් එකටත් නේද? මේ නේම් එකේ දැන් මේ ඇඩ්‍රස් එකම වෙන ඔයාගේ ගෙදර මේ වෙන කාටවත් ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? Yes, can, right? Now assume to this course one sister and brother is following the same course. Okay, you will be having registration numbers, separate numbers. Then your names are going to be different, right? So then we can't say that both these are going to be depend on what the same registration number, right? So එතකොට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් මේ registration number එකට depend වෙන දෙකක් තමයි මේ name කියන එකත් address කියන එකත්. An attribute may functionally depend on two or more attribute rather than one or single attribute. Now see, fellow කියන මේ entity එකේ තියෙනවා student ඒ වගේම course code කියලා දෙකක් තියෙනවා. So may දෙකටම marks එකත්, okay, if you take one student, okay, student කෙනෙක්ව ගත්තාම marks is related to the course student, isn't it? මේ student ගේ marks එක. ඒ වගේම එයාගේ grade එක මේක. නේ pass ද නැත්නම් fail ද නැත්නම් distinction ද එහෙම කියන එක එයාගේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි course එකටත් ඒක relate වෙනවා. Now course, for this course this student has taken this marks. Okay, in this course this marks has been this grade has been given to this student. නේද? තේරුණාද? එතකොට student කෙනෙක් follow කරනවා course එකක් නම් මේ student මේ course එක follow කරනවා එයාගේ marks එක මේක එයාගේ grade එක මේක. So that is what was there in this table. Okay, this student, their details following these courses, their marks, and then their grade, if the grade has been given, that also can be mentioned. Okay, may student follow karna make the same. Now we can just say here, see the same course ID, this student 1 to 5 is also following the same course, 1 to 7 also following the same course. Okay, two courses are there which is similar. තේරුණාද? එතකොට මේකත් ID එකක් නේ. එතකොට we know that we can't redundant or else duplication එකක් තියෙන්න බෑ. ID field එකේ we cannot have duplications, but here we have. Why? You know why it is? Because this is a foreign key. Okay, this is another table's foreign primary key which is being used as a foreign key over here. But in this table, student ID is the only primary key. තේරුණාද? එතකොට 1 to 5 කියලා ආයෙත් අපිට මෙතන add කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? Can't. We can't have another field for 1 to 5. Is it clear, පුතා? මේක තේරුණාද? Okay, we'll do some exercises, then you will understand. I have few more slides, then you will understand somehow. Okay, this is the one. So fully functional dependency කියන්නේ එකට. එතකොට ඔයාලා ලියනකොට student number and course code both are fully functionally depend on marks and grade. Okay, තේරුණාද මේක? මම මේකට ඔයාලට examples ටිකක් පෙන්නන්නම්. In the next class, then you will understand. I might have another schema with me. I will share it with you. If not, may normalization function shall I teach you in the next class? Because we have almost another 10 slides වගේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Okay, පොඩි දේවල් තමයි තියෙන්නේ normalization එකේ. Normalization එක then ඔයාට relational schema එක දන්නවනේ. So you first draw the ER diagram. Then මම ඔයාට normalization එකත් කියලා දුන්නොත් you won't understand. You first come up with the relational schema. So having the relational schema only we will be doing the normalization. Okay, normalization நாங்க எப்படி செய்வோம்டா ரிலேஷனல் ஸ்கீமாவை தான் நாங்க நார்மலைஸ் பண்ணுவோம். சரியா? இதுல நார்மலைசேஷன் என்னென்ன இருக்குது, ஃபுல்லி டிபெண்டன்சியா இல்லாட்டி ஃபங்க்ஷனல் டிபெண்டன்சி இருக்குதா இல்லாட்டி இதுல பார்ஷியல் டிபெண்டன்சி இருக்குதா, இதெல்லாம் நாங்க இதுக்கு புறத்தன் பார்ப்போம். சரியா? நான் உங்களுக்கு அதுக்கு கிளியரான எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் கொண்டு மெட்கொண்டு வரேன். என்கிட்ட ஒரு நோட் ஒன்று இருக்குது. ஸோ ஐ கன்வெர்ட் இட் இன்டு அ பிரசன்டேஷன் அண்ட் ஐல் ஷோ இட் யூ. தென் யூ வில் clearly understand. Okay, so then you just come up with the ER diagram for the scenarios which I shared you with you. Okay, today which I shared with you. Okay, so just draw the tour ER diagram for the tour management and then hotel management ekata dekama ER diagrams dekama hada ganna, and for each of it come up with the relational schema. Relational schema you will write the entity and then the attributes inside the brackets. If there is a multi-valued attribute, then you have to create another relation for that as well, isn't it? Phone number na phone number eke danna, employee number da nathang student number da, ඒත් එක්කම phone number එක, ඒත් එක්කම qualification එක, ඒත් එක්කම skill එක. Correct? Okay, I hope you understood. So just come up with the relational schema for the 2 ER diagrams which I gave you today. So do the practice for that, then you will understand the normalization. Without doing practice in relational schema, you won't understand normalization as well, because here all these are coming under normalization. All these are coming under relational schema. See, normalization can be done if you have the relational schema. එතකොට අපි රිලේෂනල් ස්කීමා එක ඩ්‍රෝ කරලා තියාගමු. අපේ මේකේ මොනවා වගේ normalization ද තියෙන්නේ? fully functional dependence තියෙනවද, functionality dependence තියෙනවද, partial function dependence තියෙනවද? ඒ වගේ දේවල් ටිකක් අපි go through කරලා බලමු. Okay, so that is all then. Normalization will continue in the next class, and then most probably after that we can start coding. Okay, start doing SQLs, learning SQL, sorry. So if you have any doubts or else questions related to the session, you may ask me. Any doubts, any questions? You know the software's name, right? eDraw කියන එක. eDraw එකේ ලියා draw කරගෙන එන්න එහෙනම්. Any doubts?
Yes.
Yes, Puta. Sanya. Nisha, right? Yeah, tell me. You can talk to me. If you have any doubts, questions related to the session, just ask me.
Yeah, sorry, I have unmuted, sorry. I'm asking, I have sent a question that whether the enterprise could be taken as one of the entities in the last homework. Is it possible?
Enterprise.
Yeah, I took it as one of the entities. Because the customer, the client directly contacts enterprise, then through it only is like planning his project. And
yeah, in the presentation, okay, so I'll just show you. Cannot see the screen, right? Okay, the last line says, okay, wait. So when you are working with the real-time client, they won't give you all the things, okay? They will just point out the things, whatever that is up to their mind, okay? Up to their like experience, isn't it? So in this itself, I have mentioned, let's share the screen. Include any attributes or entities, okay? You can even include entities that you think should be represented. State why, and the assumption has to be given. Okay, so that was there. So you better add the kind of an assumption below that, Puta. So what I can do is, even when you are working on an assignment or something, okay, when you are working on a real-time assignment, okay, at the end somehow you have to do an assignment. So in that, like beyond that, if you are thinking, okay, this could add or else this could help, when if it is there, like you might come up with some few additional ideas, right? So just edit and then finally mention the assumption. Okay, just include an assumption saying that, so this is why I have added this. So if it is there, then this is going to help the system. Like as you can mention things like that. Okay,
It's not that there's no clear cut like this should only include this. What you mean is like you can include enterprise as well if you think it's correct, no?
yeah, that's why I'm telling, where you have to mention that, Puta. So you have to mention, clearly mention why you have added the enterprises. So this is going to affect how this is going to be affected to this system. Okay, if it is there, because according to the scenario, they are not saying that there is no any enterprises, right? So this is just a company. You have to assume that this scenario or else the use case is for a client or else to a company. Okay, so if they are telling that, yeah, we having you can't just add something which is not in their company, isn't it? So you have to contact them and then you have to clear, if not as an assumption. That is why I'm telling, as an assumption, if you are having an enterprises, we can have another entity for that as well, sir. What you can do, you can just send it to them and then you can discuss with them. Maybe sometimes they might doesn't have an enterprises, isn't it? If they are not having one, then what is going to be there is where you will be like having something which is not related to the scenario or else not related to the requirement, isn't it? So you are additionally adding something which is come to your mind, isn't it?
Miss, the thing is, the question starts like this: use an entity relationship diagram to depict the information needs of the following engineering enterprise. That is why I added.
Yeah. Okay. So each engineer works on number of projects. Yeah. So yeah, that is why you have to make an assumption. Okay, you just confirm that. Okay, yeah, enterprises. So in this Puta, enterprises, enterprises has not, like they are the one who is conducting, right? So you no need to have an enterprises entity for that. Okay, for separately something which is like enterprises secretary, you no need to have one, because somehow they will, like clients would come and then somehow they are going to come to the enterprises, isn't it? Now I'll just say, assume that you are studying in Gatwick College, right? So you are coming to the college. Now there is no several, like they have not mentioned there are several enterprises. Okay, there is not more like branches, isn't it? So make a balanna. Now Gatwick has one college. Okay, so that is one in one location. There is one college. Okay, so somehow you are coming to the college and then you are contacting with the coordinator or someone, and then you are communicating with the, okay, what are the courses. Okay, the customer or else the client will be having a relationship between the what courses, not with the enterprises. Okay, they will somehow, somehow they have to go to the enterprises. There is no any other places to go, right? Engineering enterprise, somehow they, like clients, if they are coming there, then that is somehow they are coming there, isn't it? So if you wanted to go to Dialog office to get something done, somehow you are going to go to Dialog. You are not going to Etisalat or some other places, isn't it? So for that, you don't need to have a separate entity, okay? Because they have not mentioned. If they have mentioned something like there are entities like engineering enterprises is there and some other enterprises are there. If they have mentioned something like that, then you have to come up with another entity, especially for the enterprises as well. Okay, so that is there. You have to, you have to be really careful, and also you have to be really clear with the scenario which has been given. Okay, this is just a normal one. This is just a simple scenario. But when it comes to real-time environment, when you are working with a real-time client or the customers, it is really going to be hard. And also here, they will just give you things. You can't just put unvoted thing, all the things together, and you can't make a huge system. Well structured system මං අන්තිමට අර උගන්වනකොට well structured means only the needed things should be there. Unwanted things, why do we need to have all the unwanted thing into that, isn't it?
Yes.
If you put unwanted thing into that, then when you are building separately, you have to have a table, separately you have to have entities, you have to create them separately. So that is going to be a real huge process, isn't it? So that is why minimalizing thing is what that will really help. Okay, and only the needed thing has to be included into the diagram or the project that you are conducting or else working on. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is the thing. I hope you got
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Any other doubts? Yeah, Mushfiq. நான் Photoshop design செய்றேன் புத்தா. உங்களுக்கு அப்படின்னா நீங்க என்ன Photoshop செய்றேன். நான் freelancing work பண்றதுனால நான் I just do Photoshop postings and other stuff. You can contact me if you need, okay? You can contact, you have my email address, right? You can contact via mail. So if there is nothing which is related to the session, okay, if you don't have any doubts or else questions which is related to the session, then we can wind it up. Okay, then we'll wind up the session. See you guys in the next class. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.